Just look at how Andre towers in the ring. 7 feet 4 inches tall, over 500 pounds, a size 28 boot, and a wrist that's almost a foot in circumference. There really isn't any part of Andre that isn't huge, King.
When you're up against a man that size, there really isn't much you can do to beat him.
Standing 7 feet 4, Andre the Giant made his WWE debut in 1973 and has been a force to be reckoned with ever since. Giant by name, giant by nature. There's not a man in the WWE who can match Andre physically. Andre's hurt. His resilience is being tested.
This might be it for Andre.
Andre the Giant is one of the biggest heavy hitters in the WWE.
And I'll take it you mean heavy in every possible sense.
There's never been, and I don't think there ever will be, another competitor as physically impressive as Andre the Giant.
This guy embodies huge, Ross. He hits with the force of a freight train.
And when you're over 500 pounds like Andre, it takes something special to knock you down.
Like a truck.
Andre's not just a great wrestler, King. He's also a great fighter. And this man has beaten boxers, wrestlers,
and he could probably beat up commentators, too. You'd better watch what you're saying when you're talking about the Giant.
Animal, along with his tag team partner Hawk, make up the brutal union, the Road Warriors.
A great tag team? They might be the best. Look at the size of Animal. How do you stop that? Animal might be one of the greatest tag team wrestlers I've ever seen.
You got that right. Animal's one of the toughest superstars in the entire business. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, 6'1", 285 pounds, of one of the most decorated tag team champions in wrestling today, Road Warrior Animal.
When his career's all said and done, Ross, I wouldn't be surprised if he's part of wrestling royalty, along with other greats, like me.
Animal's trying to get the fans on his side.
Animal's getting under his opponent's skin.
Animal the Road Warrior, showing everybody who's boss.
Why does Animal wear those spikes, Ross? He could take someone's eye out.
I guess it's to intimidate his opponents.
As if Animal needs any help with that. Just look at him. Just look at the expression on Animal's face. You know he means business.
He might be the last person I'd ever want to cross. There's nothing pretty about Animal's style. It might even be considered bowling shoe ugly, but he gets the job done.
Nothing technical, nothing fancy, just pure, unadulterated pain.
From head to toe, Animal's an intimidating guy.
Even his hair looks scary, JR. When you think of the Four Horsemen, AA has to come to mind.
No question. Arn might be the best technical wrestler in the group, and that, folks, is saying something. AA, the enforcer. Call him what you will, but Arn Anderson is one of the toughest son-of-a-guns in the entire business. Arn Anderson weighs somewhere around 240 pounds, stands about 6'1", 6'2", but you'd be hard-pressed to find a man who can match him pound for pound in the ring.
The Enforcer's one of the greatest technical wrestlers of all time, Ross. You step in the ring with AA, you're going to find out how tough you are. Like him or love him, AA's a workhorse. He's a gifted wrestler that can beat you with a wide variety of holds and strikes.
I'll tell you, King, AA is a tough man.
Absolutely. One of the toughest. Go on, JR, say it. Tell me how impressed you are with Arn Anderson.
I think Arn's a great wrestler. It's just his methods I have a problem with.
If you'd ever stepped in the ring, you'd know it doesn't matter how you win, only if you win.
And all I'm saying is I'd rather win fairly, King.
What you see with the Enforcer is really what you're going to get. Just a down-to-earth man with a ton of ability and a penchant for pain.
The Beast from the East is one of the most athletic big men I've ever seen.
Bam Bam can pull off moves many smaller guys can't, JR.
At 6'4" and at least 360 pounds, covered from head to toe in flames, Bam Bam Bigelow, folks, is one of the toughest superstars on the roster.
From head to toe's right, JR. He's even got flames tattooed on his forehead. Bam Bam may look like a freak, JR, but when push comes to shove, he can certainly go in the ring.
King, I think calling him a freak's a little bit strong.
How many normal guys do you know with flames tattooed on their head, JR?
Well, let's see, there's nobody in Oklahoma, so I guess there's only one, that man right there, the unique beast from the East, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam may be big, JR, but his speed means he can hit moves out of nowhere.
You've always got to be watchful, King. You never know when Bam Bam's going to try and hit the greetings from Asbury Park.
Bigelow really is the best of both worlds. He's tall, he's big, he's hard-hitting, but he's got the speed and agility of a much smaller guy.
Bam Bam's almost a perfect package, King, and that makes him one to watch out for.
Bam Bam's a bad, bad man. Remind me to stay away from Asbury Park, or better yet, all of New Jersey.
Bam Bam, a former bounty hunter, paid $4,500 for the tattoo that covers his head, and has had many more since.
Bam Bam looks like a psychopath, JR. He looks like someone who loves to cause pain. I love it.
And Big Boss Man is 6'7", 357 pounds, and is one of the toughest men to ever step foot in that ring. You don't want to mess with this former corrections officer. Say what you will about the Big Boss Man, but I got a feeling the streets of Cobb County, Georgia, are the safest in the nation with him enforcing the law. The former prison guard is enforcing his own brand of law and order. The plain and simple fact about the Big Boss Man is that he wants to uphold the law. The problem is he believes he's the judge, jury, and executioner. The Big Boss Man is looking very impressive here.
I'll tell you one thing, JR. I would not like serving under the Big Boss Man in a prison.
You got that right, King. I'd imagine Boss Man rule with an iron fist during his time with the inmates.
The Big Boss Man hits with the force of a chain gang.
Big John Studd is a doggone colossus.
And with that great size comes great strength, JR.
Studd's pick fights with the biggest men in the company and live to tell the tale. Nothing flashy or fancy about Studd. The man's big, he's powerful, and he knows how to dish out a beating. Big John Studd is built like a redwood tree, King.
You're right about that, JR. Studd has those huge, huge arms, and at 6'10", there aren't many who can look him in the eye either.
We've mentioned his incredible size, King, but Big John Studd is really tough. Studd's just been weathering the storm here. He's taken shots, but it doesn't look like they've really hurt him.
That's just how tough Studd is, though, Ross. It'll take more than a few punches to send him reeling. Studd's not out of this one yet. He's just too big to be that dominated.
If you're going up against a giant like Big John Studd, what's your strategy, King?
Run! When Studd gets his hands on you, he'll be bending you like a pretzel.
Thanks for the insight, King. That's why you're the best in the business. Bret Hart, crafty, cagey, the excellence of execution. There's never been a fighting champion quite like the Hitman.
I still can't stand him.
Bret Hart's a technician, and he's quite honestly the best there ever is, the best there ever was, and the best there ever will be.
Says who?
A lot of people prescribe to that theory, and I'm one of them.
Well, nobody asked me, Ross.
That's because nobody cares what you got to say, King. Bret Hart has so much resilience. He'll keep going when there's no end in sight. Trained by his father, Bret's dad taught him everything Bret knows.
One of 8 children, you can bet Bret had to learn to fight for his attention.
Bret has a heart full of courage. He'll stand up to anybody, and he will never back down.
Courage is a virtue, JR, but one day that attitude will lose Hart some teeth.
He may not be the biggest man in the WWE, but Bret Hart just might be the best. Davy Boy Smith, the British Bulldog from Manchester, England, one of the finest competitors to grace the WWE from the British shores.
Finest may be too strong a word to use there, Ross, but I can respect Davy's abilities.
The young, popular Bulldog, oozing potential.
Bulldog's a powerhouse. He's an expert at wearing people down. The British Bulldog's got these fans on their feet, JR.
There's no doubting the Bulldog's popular, but he's earned their respect.
Bulldog may be resilient, but getting back up when you're taking a beating is just stupid.
And that's why he's called the Bulldog. Davy Boy Smith is just so resilient. He's pugnacious. There's nothing that'll back him down.
But getting back up isn't always the wisest strategy, JR.
Bulldog's been getting a beating, but he's got that British stiff upper lip.
It'll take more than a beating to keep Bulldog down.
Bulldog's been receiving as much as he's been dishing out. Smith started wrestling at just 16 years of age, plying his trade on the UK circuit before training in Calgary.
The kid's been determined. I'll give him that much.
Davey Boy Smith, wrestling in a style not too dissimilar from Bret Hart, and with good reason. The two were trained together. Just look at the size of the Bulldog. The man's built like a gladiator. Bulldog's well-versed in a variety of holds, and that's one of the things that makes him so impressive. He's a power wrestler with a wide repertoire of submission moves as well.
And that means not only can he break your bones, he can pull on them and bend them too.
The fan favorite, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, looking in great shape tonight.
When does he not look in great shape, JR?
Brutus Beefcake, one of the best all-around competitors in the WWE. And when you're in the ring with a barber, you better hold on to your hair. The crowd on their feet for Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
I don't know what these people see in him, JR. He's just a normal guy with some really bad dress sense.
I guess being a talented wrestler counts for nothing with you then, huh, King? Brutus the Barber Beefcake, one of the most charismatic stars in the WWE.
You call it charisma, JR. I'll call it what it is. Cocky.
And Beefcake's whipping these people into a frenzy.
Hey, simple things for simple minds, JR.
Oh, and Beefcake's rubbing it in now.
Beefcake hadn't won the match yet. He should worry more about wrestling his opponent.
The crowd's on their feet for Beefcake, and I'm sure there's more than a few female voices cheering him on.
They're not cheering for him, JR. They're cheering for me. No one can resist a piece of the royalty.
I'm sure they can't, King. Beefcake getting a huge response from the crowd.
What is Beefcake doing now? He's wasting his time.
Getting the crowd on your side could never be considered a waste of time, King. Having thousands of fans cheering your name must be a confidence boost, but maybe you wouldn't know that.
Just because the people don't cheer my name doesn't mean they don't respect me, Ross. They just show it in other ways. Brutus Beefcake's a talented competitor, but all too often he lets his confidence get the better of him.
There's nothing wrong with believing in yourself, King.
All I'm saying is he'd better be sure he can cash the checks his mouth is writing. I don't know why people even get in the ring with Beefcake. He's always got those hedge trimmers around.
Well, he's the barber, Jerry.
This is a wrestling match, JR, not a sheep shearing contest. Those trimmers look dangerous.
Beefcake is one of the most talented men in the WWE. He's young, confident, and he's a huge hit with these fans. Dusty said many times that he's wined and dined with kings and queens, and he's slept in alleys and lived on pork and beans.
Well, except for that pork and beans part, Ross. That's a crock. He's never eaten with me.
Yes, sir. He's one of a kind. Mr. Rhodes is from the Lone Star State and the son of a plumber.
And am I glad he's only one of a kind? It's bad enough with just one of him.
Dusty Rhodes. He came from humble beginnings, but through sheer determination, he transformed himself into the American dream, a true role model. Dusty's in hard times here, folks, but it's adversity he's dealt with before. And if anybody can make a comeback from this, it's the American dream.
Rhodes is done. He's out.
I wouldn't be so sure about that, King. Rhodes, the veteran. He's overcome so many obstacles, and he'll do it all again to win here tonight. And Dusty's a man of the people, if you will. There's nobody that clicks with the people more than the American dream. The American dream's, well, he's a mass of charisma.
Listen to those idiots cheering Dusty.
They identify with Rhodes. There's no question he's connected with the fans.
Well, as royalty, I have no interest in the people. They need to cook my meals, wash my cars, and that's it.
Rhodes is the type of individual who will tell you exactly what he's going to do, then humiliate you by actually doing it. He's just that good. Dusty's your everyday man. He is the people, and these fans love him.
It's like I say, JR, idiots respect other idiots. There's nothing likable about Dusty. He's just common.
Unlike you, Your Highness.
What do people see in Dusty Rhodes, JR?
They see a man they can believe in, King. They see a man who's believed in himself, someone who's overcome the odds, someone who's earned everything he's got. There are few men who hit with more force than that man right there, Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Hammer's a fighter, Ross.
Valentine has an intimidating presence in the ring, which he often uses to bully people around.
Greg the Hammer Valentine could be one of the strongest athletes to ever set foot in that ring. He's the real deal. And his opponent will be sorely mistaken if he underestimates Valentine. The Hammer's one tough cookie.
Valentine's getting worn down. Now it's important to stay on him. You don't want to let him wrestle his way back into this match. Valentine starting to show a few signs of wear now.
What are you on about, Ross? The Hammer's doing fine. If you were a conditioned, lean athlete like me, maybe you'd understand.
The Hammer's a second-generation wrestler.
And Father Valentine taught him to pick his spot and keep on it. The Hammer does that better than anybody. I love how Greg Valentine gets when he's in control. You just feel the confidence emanating from him. It's like being in the presence of a true great. See, Ross, Valentine's what a real wrestler should look like. Well-built, handsome, confident, kind of like myself.
There's no denying Valentine is the complete package. I'm not so sure the same applies to you, Kingfish. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the biggest patriot in the WWE.
All he has to do is say USA, and these idiots start cheering.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan just has a feel-good, a good aura. You just can't help but smile when you see him.
You mean you can't help but feel good?
I know what I mean, King. He's got a heart of gold, and that's why these people love him. Duggan's got standards, King. He stands his ground. If you insult something he believes in, you're going to pay the price. When the going gets tough, Hacksaw can brawl with the best of them. Trust me on that.
He knows how to fight. That doesn't mean I got to like him, though, Ross. Yeah, Hacksaw's getting beaten down.
But if there's anyone who can make a comeback against the odds, it's Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
I've never known anyone to wrap a crowd around his finger quite as well as Hacksaw.
He simply earned their respect, King.
Listen to these idiots cheering for Hacksaw.
It's mutual respect, Jerry. Hacksaw's one of the toughest guys in the WWE, and he connects with these people like nobody else. Duggan's connecting with these fans tonight. I don't think there's a person in this arena that isn't on their feet cheering.
They're not cheering for him, Ross. Hacksaw's only friend is that plank of wood.
Listen to this arena come alive for Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
I don't know what these people see in Hacksaw. Just because he carries a flag doesn't make him a great person.
He's a hero, King. Time and time again, Duggan's overcome the odds and risen above it all through sheer perseverance and determination. No matter how grim things look for Hacksaw, all it takes is a little ho from the audience to fire him up again.
I don't know about ho, JR. I just wish Hacksaw would go. Duggan's still got these idiots brainwashed, JR.
Say what you will about Hacksaw, King. He loves these fans. If there's one thing that makes Duggan get out of bed and walk to that ring, it's seeing the look on these people's faces.
Duggan's a phony, JR. He flaunts that flag and mingles with the people, but underneath the surface, he's hiding nothing but contempt.
How can you say that, King? Hacksaw Jim Duggan's one of the nicest guys I know, and one of the most genuine, too.
Then he's got you under his spell, too, JR. Sometimes I think I'm the only sane one left. Hawk only knows one speed, and that's full speed, straight ahead.
At 278, Hawk could very well be the strongest man in the WWE.
That's right. When facing Hawk, you definitely have to be cautious of that strength. He's got the power to simply maul his opponents. At least we know one thing. Hawk doesn't sleep in a waterbed with all those spikes he wears.
Hawk is as powerful as any man in any sport ever, and he's had it absolutely taken to him tonight. And Hawk is legitimately one of the toughest guys I know. He's getting it taken to him now, but I wouldn't count him out yet.
He doesn't look much like a hawk here to me. Maybe a dirty pigeon or a tiny sparrow.
Hawk is tougher than a $2 steak. This man is simply nothing more than a monster. The Road Warriors, and especially Hawk, love to beat the stuffing out of their opponents. As big as Hawk is, the man's incredibly agile. He could even do drop kicks to 7-footers when the situation calls for it.
You know, this Hawk guy's pretty strong for a bird.
You know, friends and neighbors, there just might not be anybody else in the roster who thinks as highly of themselves as the one and only Honky Tonk Man.
What do you mean, Ross? Honky's a bona fide superstar, and he can wrestle, too. You know, when you see the Honky Tonk Man, you can't help but notice the influence he's had on other musicians. I mean, look at that sense of style.
I have a feeling it may have been the other way around, King. And look at the Honky Tonk Man, the self-proclaimed epitome of cool.
I think you're missing a few things there, JR. He's not just cool, he's cocky, and he's bad.
Oh, give me a break. Honky's so full of himself.
Come on, Ross. If you were as good as the Honky Tonk Man, you'd be showing off too. Oh, yeah, Honky's really coming into his own now. You can almost feel the confidence oozing out of the Honky Tonk Man.
Well, I'm surprised that he can fit his head between the ropes.
I love Honky's hair, Ross. I wonder how he gets it like that.
I'm sure I don't know. I've never really been one for salons. You know, I think the Honky Tonk Man actually gets more and more narcissistic with each match that goes by.
It's called confidence, JR, and Honky's full of it. You're just jealous that you can't sing like he can.
I don't think anyone could be jealous of that.
The Honky Tonk Man's really a great wrestler, and there are quite a few ladies here that love the way he shakes.
Let me tell you, they broke the mold when they made that man. There will never be another Hulkster in the history of this sport, brother.
Boy, that's a blessing.
This man needs no introduction. 6'7", 305 pounds of all-American muscle. Hulk Hogan. When you go up against the Hulkster, you don't merely face one man with 24-inch pythons. You also got to beat the millions of Hulkamaniacs in the world.
And if you don't think that's a major factor, just listen to this crowd.
It's going to take more than that to finish off Hogan. Man, is this guy intensity personified. Hogan's so resilient. Now he's looking to make a comeback.
Things aren't looking great for the Hulkster.
Hogan will pull it back, King. Somehow the Hulkster will find a way. When Hulk Hogan comes to the ring, pandemonium breaks loose. Hulkamania has definitely invaded this wonderful city. And you know Hogan loves hearing this response from the WWE fans. There's nothing that energizes him more. Just listen to the crowd come alive. The floor's shaking. The roof's rumbling as Hulkamania takes hold. Heroic, courageous, resilient, all words that describe the immortal Hulk Hogan. Hogan, so full of energy and passion for this business.
You're probably going to say Hulk's the total package, right, JR?
Well, there's not much Hulk hasn't got. There's not another guy in this company as popular as Hulk Hogan. The man's a superstar. It literally gives me goosebumps seeing the Hulkster. The man is emotion personified. Hunter has so much disdain for this crowd, with that prominent proboscis turned right up at them.
That's right, Ross. All great men have that. This young superstar, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, has something I like. Not quite sure what it is, but I got a feeling this kid's going to be huge someday.
I don't know if the WWE's ever been graced with a competitor that possesses as much arrogance as Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
We've never been graced by the presence of someone with Hunter's lineage either. Except for me, of course. No, Hunter, come on! Hang in there! That's it, Hunter. Show these idiots what the upper class is made of.
And the Connecticut Blue Blood might just be on his last leg here.
Shut up, Ross! Hunter's just catching a second wind.
And would you look at the arrogance of the conceited rich man from Greenwich, Connecticut.
You're just jealous, JR. You know Hunter told me that money is the root of all wealth.
That's really prophetic, King. Look at the arrogance of Hunter.
I like it myself. That's the epitome of class there. See, Ross, that's how you do it.
Hunter is an amazing athlete, but WWE fans love to watch him get his tail kicked.
That's blatant stereotyping, and you know it, Ross. I'm a WWE fan, and I can't stand seeing Hunter get hit. You know what I like most about Helmsley? His palate is too highly refined for such peasant food as barbecue.
Well, good. I won't have to sit down with him when I eat then.
Hunter's music is just as classy as the man himself. Not that I'd expect a peon like you to understand that, Ross.
This Helmsley is an incredible thoroughbred. I'm just hoping somebody puts him out to pasture soon. The former bodyguard to the Shah of Iran, the Iron Sheik, is considered one of the dirtiest wrestlers in the business.
See, when you said dirty, you actually meant to say great, Ross. The Iron Sheik's one of the best all-around wrestlers to grace that ring, and you should respect that.
The Iron Sheik takes great pleasure in flaunting his Iranian heritage right in the face of his opponents.
Hold on. If this was Hulk Hogan, you'd be all over his patriotism. But because this is the Iron Sheik, it's somehow wrong?
The Iron Sheik, a very accomplished amateur wrestler, holding a gold medal for his wrestling skills.
How many other athletes can you say that about in the WWE? None. The Iron Sheik's in a class of his own.
He's in hard times, but the Iron Sheik is so tough.
Of course he's tough, JR. You don't have wimpy bodyguards. You don't win gold medals by being soft. The Iron Sheik is as tough as anyone in this company.
I don't have any arguments with that. And the Iron Sheik on the receiving end of some punishment here.
He's fine, JR. You know as well as I do there are few men as tough as the Sheik.
Things aren't looking too great for the Sheik at the moment.
He can come back, JR. You want to talk about all-rounders, JR? You talk about that man right there, the Iron Sheik.
Well, the Iron Sheik may be just a little bit loony, but he's a phenomenal competitor. There's no doubt about that. The Iron Sheik has it all, but he's not exactly shy taking a few shortcuts to win.
But that's just an example of the Sheik's confidence, JR. He knows he's good, and he's not afraid of breaking the rules to show it.
Well, if he was as good as he says he is, he could win by playing by the rules.
When the Sheik gets going, there's really no stopping him. He just unloads with move after move, suplex after suplex, until he's got the win.
The Sheik, always looking for a way to apply that devastating hold, the camel clutch.
If there's a way to apply it, he'll know how to hook it on.
The innovator of the DDT and one of the most bizarre and controversial competitors to ever set foot in that ring is Jake the Snake Roberts.
Roberts is one of the best mat technicians around, but there's just something about him that creeps me out.
At about 6'5", 248 pounds, Jake the Snake may not be the largest man in the WWE, but let me tell you, he still packs one heck of a punch.
If there's one thing that creeps me out about Roberts, it's the fact we know whenever we see him, his snake can't be far behind.
Roberts does seem to always have that snake somewhere nearby, and occasionally a little bit too close for comfort. Jake developing an unhealthy, kind of a wild kingdom trait recently for putting his snake on top of his opponents.
That's a living, breathing snake, Ross. Who knows what would happen if that thing bit you? Jake's been wrestling so far, JR, but you know at some point he'll be looking to introduce that snake.
Robert's snake, Damien's, been up close and really personal with one too many superstar. If we don't see it in this match, I sure as heck won't complain. These fans have come alive in the presence of Roberts tonight.
Everyone's got an opinion, and they're all being aired here, JR.
Jake struck a chord with this crowd here tonight. Listen to the fans erupt. Roberts never fails to get a response from these fans. Just listen to that reaction. Jake the Snake always trying to get under the skin of his opponents, always riling them up.
Once you're blinded by anger, you'll start making mistakes, and that's when the snake strikes. You can almost hear Jake's mind working. He's always analyzing, always thinking about what to do next.
And that's what makes him such a tactician, King. Jake the Snake, master of one of the most devastating moves in the industry today, the incomparable DDT.
A move that twisted can only come from a man nicknamed the Snake.
The anvil's a powder keg. That barrel chest possesses so much strength. And there's another former football player, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, a man who's synonymous with toughness.
And he's got a heck of a right hand, too.
One half of the Hart Foundation. Jim Neidhart's seen his share of success in the tag team ranks.
And Neidhart's power and strength more than allow him to compete on his own as well.
Whoa, look at the toughness on display there by the Anvil. With a name like the Anvil, you knew he'd have to be tough.
The Anvil's in bad shape here. Does he have enough left? Can he do it? Hey, Ross, you ever think about growing a goatee like Neidhart's?
Nope. Can't say that I have.
When you're in the ring with Jim Neidhart, you can never try to overpower him. You can try and outmaneuver him. You can maybe even try to outpace him, but you'll never get a power advantage over the Anvil.
Jim the Anvil Neidhart, earning his nickname after he won an anvil throwing contest in Calgary.
You seriously need to get out more.
Snuka's an extraordinary athlete, physically tough. This man knows no fear. There might be nobody hotter in the WWE than the Superfly.
Look at the traps on Snuka. I don't know if Superfly's ever seen a gym he didn't like.
Look at this amazing Samoan athlete. Is he in shape or what?
You know, Snuka spots for me. I schooled him on the correct ways to work out.
Well, not that you aren't in great shape, King, but somehow I find that very hard to believe.
And Snuka's not done yet. The man's got one of the hardest heads in the business. How tough is the Superfly? My goodness, this man doesn't know the meaning of the words "I quit."
Superfly is a very well-conditioned and resilient man. If he wasn't all those things in spades, he might have been out of this match a long, long time ago.
That face on Snuka, those eyes. I'll tell you, JR, Superfly's been there a time or two.
There's a daredevil attitude about Jimmy Snuka, a never-say-die mentality.
When it comes to winning matches, everything else goes out the window. Snuka will put it all on the line every time if it means he'll get the win.
How does one go about wrestling Jimmy Snuka? He's just so quick in that ring.
And that means you can never tell what's coming next. Snuka leaves you no time to prepare. He just keeps catching you off guard.
Jimmy Snuka's got a unique style, King. He was one of the first wrestlers to utilize the top rope, and he's been innovating ever since.
It's so hard to read the guy, Ross. When you're in the ring with Snuka, you're always left guessing, and that's never a good idea.
The Junkyard Dog. Talk about a force in the ring. Man, I love this guy.
Blah, blah, blah. Shut up, Ross, and call the match.
And did you ever hear the reaction these people gave JYD?
Well, what else would you expect from these morons?
Well, maybe you're a moron. Knock it off, King. The Junkyard Dog's talented and charismatic, and you know it. There he is, the master of the thump, and one of the most magnetic superstars ever in the WWE. The Junkyard Dog is ready to light this match up. The fan favorite, the Junkyard Dog, getting this crowd all fired up. I don't think there's a fan in this arena that isn't on their feet.
It's like they're all hypnotized. Come on, people. Snap out of it.
The fans showing their support for the Junkyard Dog.
It's not looking too good for the JYD now, Ross.
But the Junkyard Dog's a big-time player, King. When the crowd comes alive, he'll dig down really deep and claw his way right back in this match. The Junkyard Dog, with some bite left in his bark, and so determined to not let his fans down. The Junkyard Dog's missed a few beats here, but it's going to take more than that to put this dog in the pound. The Junkyard Dog, a former offensive lineman, has such incredible upper body strength.
Well, that's what makes the thump so deadly, JR. You're hurled to the ground with all that force.
And that's going to hurt. One thing to watch out for is the Junkyard Dog's effective headbutts. He's not impartial to using his head as a weapon.
And how does that not hurt him? Maybe he's just got an incredibly thick skull. It's not as if he needs to have much else in there.
You're incredible. You know that? You're really incredible. The Junkyard Dog loves playing those basic mind games with his opponents, like barking like a dog, biting at the air.
I don't think those are mind games. I think JYD actually thinks he's a dog. I wouldn't be surprised if he started licking himself next.
The Junkyard Dog's really connected with these people. They see him as one of their own.
That's because he's just like them, JR. A no-hope pauper, not a king like myself.
The Ugandan giant goes about 390 pounds. Now, that's a guess. And is as deranged as anybody we've seen in the ring. Now, that's a fact.
Oh, would you look at Kamala? There's a reason that mug has a mask on.
Seeing Kamala in the ring makes you wonder how anyone could go up against him.
Kamala's a savage, JR. Who knows what he's going to do next?
I tell you, King, I don't think there's a thing about the Ugandan giant that doesn't just freak me out.
You're not the only one creeped out then. Kamala's a monster. Kamala's always slapping his belly. It's like he wants to eat you.
To be honest, King, I wouldn't put anything past him. Kamala certainly wrestles an unorthodox style.
Wrestling Kamala must be like wrestling a bear, JR. In fact, the only difference is Kamala doesn't have as much hair. Just look at Kamala's eyes. He's covered in so much paint, I don't know what's going on in there.
I doubt many do, King, and I'm sure fewer want to ask him to find out. Well, King, I certainly differ on that weight announcement for King Kong Bundy. That man's close to that 450-pound mark.
Well, I won't argue with you on that one, Ross.
And would you look at that cranium?
It's always great seeing Bundy wrestle, JR.
At almost 500 pounds, it takes something special to topple this monster. King Kong Bundy is one of the most unique athletes in this company. Just look at the size of the man.
When he's finished with you, you'll be a few inches flatter.
Would you look at that mug on Bundy? It's the kind of head that makes dogs bark.
You better watch what you say about Bundy. I'll tell him. Bundy's so good and so strong. And the fact of the matter is, when it comes to great gentlemen in the WWE, Bundy's in a class of his own.
You're right about that, but I think the class is detention, intimidation. Always a big part of King Kong, don't call me Al Bundy, in that ring.
Bundy's definitely known for intimidation.
It's so hard to put Bundy away. This guy can take a heck of a lot of damage and still keep going.
There's just no stopping him.
What can we expect out of Coco in this one?
The Birdman's going to fly. He's going to use his speed and quickness. You can count on that.
The Birdman, Coco Beware. One of the most exciting performers in the WWE. Coco Beware, a colorful competitor with an equally colorful offense.
Coco needs to get his head into the game, JR. If he spent less time pretending he was a bird and more time improving his skills, he could be something. I see potential there, JR.
And I think he's already realizing it, King. And the fans are giving Coco Beware a standing ovation.
Are you sure they're not just getting up to leave? Listen to all these bird brains cheering for Coco. Shut up! You might scare his stupid penguin.
Frankie's a parrot, King.
Whatever.
And the fans really showing their support for the Birdman.
I think we ought to do an intelligence test when we let people into the arena. I doubt these fans would have passed.
Coco certainly has a way with the birds.
Listen, if he wants to play with birds, go to the park. In the WWE, we wrestle.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, King, Coco has a way with that too.
The way Coco flaps his arms, you'd think his armpits are on fire or something. He looks ridiculous.
He's the Birdman, King. That's what birds do. You know, Coco has ring knowledge, and he's very, very quick. He's going to have to use those attributes, though, to win this one.
Well, you know, in the WWE, anyone can win at any time.
No matter where you see him, Coco's always got that big old smile on his face.
Makes you wonder what he knows that you don't, JR.
Perfect, a second-generation wrestler, the son of Larry the Axe Hennig. And those guys have always got a little something extra.
You know his old man?
I certainly do. And I wouldn't refer to him as old man.
Oh, come on. He's an old man now. He's not going to do anything. Perfect might, but not his old man. Mr. Perfect's an intimidating sort, isn't he?
He'd like to think he is, that's for sure. Undertaker, the Road Warriors, pick one. The Ugandan Giant, now that's what I consider intimidating.
Well, yeah, they're pretty intimidating too. But Mr. Perfect, well, he's perfectly intimidating.
Well, the talented Mr. Perfect goes about 235, maybe 240, but his ego weighs about 300.
If that was true, and it's not, it would be the perfect amount.
And if Mr. Perfect loses this match, I wonder what he'll come up with as an excuse.
Well, he's not going to lose this match, so you don't have to worry about it.
Some might say that Mr. Perfect is overconfident. I don't agree with that. I think he's cocky, arrogant, and conceited.
Aw, you're just jealous, Ross.
Perhaps, but I also wasn't done. I was going to say that Perfect's one hell of an athlete, and quite possibly the most talented mat technician we've ever seen. If that's okay with you, Your Highness. Ladies and gentlemen, you might not like him, but Mr. Perfect personifies athleticism.
Who doesn't like him? He's perfect. You know, the more I think about it, the more I think Mr. Perfect's a lot like me, Ross.
You mean you're both madly in love with yourself?
No, we both have the looks, charisma, ability, and style. In short, we're both perfect.
There's no fun and games when it comes to this man, the 300-pound Russian bear, Nikolai Volkov.
Volkov's an incredible talent, JR. I'd have thought even you could see that.
Nikolai Volkov never shy of treating the fans to the Russian national anthem.
It's his country, JR. You can't expect him to just abandon his heritage. How about you shut up and have some respect for Nikolai Volkov?
Well, love him or hate him, and I know I'm not particularly keen of him, you got to admit, Nikolai Volkov is an impressive athlete.
Volkov's more than impressive, JR. He's from behind the Iron Curtain, and that means he's tough. He's got a great amateur wrestling background and great professional wrestling experience. This is going to be a heck of a match. Oh, yeah, Volkov's really getting under their skin now.
The crowd letting Volkov know how they feel. And Volkov's getting this crowd riled up. Volkov might have earned the disdain of these fans quicker than anyone else I know.
These people just don't recognize greatness, Ross. They're intimidated when they see someone who's better than them. I'll tell you what, Nikolai has been trained like all the great Iron Curtain athletes, and the big Russian is making Moscow proud here.
Many hostile feelings in this crowd tonight. Most of them directed towards Volkov.
Volkov's a pro, JR. He can deal with their jealousy. Unlike these morons, Volkov's successful. He's got a job, and he's respected.
Well, that's interesting. I don't sense much respect for him here, King. We can't deny that Nikolai Volkov's an impressive physical specimen.
Are you kidding? I've never seen anything like him.
The Nature Boy, as always, looks to be in tremendous condition.
Whether it's 10 minutes or 10 hours, the Nate has the stamina to go the distance. Here's my man, the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
He's a phenomenal superstar. But his attitude, his ego, and his approach could leave a little bit to be desired.
By who? Not by me. Rick does whatever it takes to win. And whoa, mama, do I love it when Flair wins, 'cause then it's party time. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair. You can take a page, Ross. That's what class looks like. And watch Flair when his opponents are down. When they're injured, Flair kicks it into high gear.
Ric Flair says if you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. And like it or not, folks, the Nature Boy is definitely the man.
That might have been the smartest thing you've said tonight, Ross.
This isn't Flair's first barbecue, folks, but I'll tell you what, somehow the Nature Boy continues to improve.
They call him Slick Rick, and I'll tell you what, Ross, this man's going to be around forever.
Well, the Nature Boy says that diamonds are forever, and so is Ric Flair. And I'm in no position to argue with him.
Ravishing Rick Rude. You may not like him, but you got to respect him. And I, for one, like him, Ross.
Well, I respect him.
The ladies here are on their feet for Rick Rude.
The Ravishing One's conceited, vicious, narcissistic, and quite possibly the best pure athlete I've ever seen.
Well, I guess I can agree with that.
And King Rude is so tough. I might not like the son of a gun, but the fact is his conditioning is second to none.
Rude's in trouble. It's time to dig down deep, Rick. And how is the Ravishing One still going? You talk about resilient. Look at the toning on Rick Rude. You could wash your clothes on those abs.
If Ravishing Rick pulls out the victory, you think some lucky fan will get selected for a little smooch?
You got lucky, right? Looking at the ladies in this crowd, they'd have to put peanut butter on their nose to get affection from their dog.
You know, despite all the talent he has, I think Rick Rude's one of the dirtiest players in the...
Hold on, JR. What are you talking about? Rude's not dirty. Look at him. There's not a speck of dust on him. It'd spoil his complexion. I'll tell you, Ross, Rude's ring gear is second to none. Just look at how great those tights look.
Well, they kind of look like somebody's been sick to me, King.
Oh, what do Oklahomans know about fashion anyway? Look at Rowdy Roddy Piper. He really thinks he's something.
He is something.
Anybody that wears a dress is something. You know why Roddy wears a kilt? 'Cause he's dumb enough to. Piper told me before this match he came here to chew bubblegum and kick butt, and he's all out of bubblegum.
With sheer determination, Piper is still in this.
You know, for a guy that wears a dress, Piper's kind of tough. Why doesn't Rowdy stay down? He's getting his tail kicked from pillar to post. What's he trying to prove?
Hot Rod's a phenomenal athlete. He's in great shape. He's quick, and he can turn the match around in an instant.
As he says, Ross, just when you think you've got the answers, he'll change the questions.
Roddy Piper is in your face. He's a man's man. He'll fight you anytime, any place. Let me tell you, Roddy Piper got a Ph.D. on the streets, and it served him well his whole life. And now in that ring is one of the most patriotic wrestlers this company has ever seen, the former U.S. Marine, Sergeant Slaughter.
And that military experience gives Slaughter such a unique background, JR. He's disciplined, he's strong, and he knows how to deliver a beating.
And the former drill instructor, Sergeant Slaughter, looks to really be in great shape in this match.
Of course he's in great shape, JR. Being in the military gives you the discipline to keep yourself fit. Not that you know anything about that.
From serving his country to serving these fans in the ring, Sergeant Slaughter will be utilizing his military knowledge in this one.
Those military drills taught Slaughter a whole lot of ways to hurt people, JR. Let's see if he can put them to good use.
The Sarge has been taking a lot of punishment.
He was in the Marines, Ross. If anyone knows how to overcome adversity, it's the Sarge.
Slaughter having to rely on every bit of military discipline to pull himself back into the match. I have to admit, Slaughter's not looking too great. But I can tell you this, there's not an ounce of quit in his body.
Slaughter's tough, JR, but he's taken a lot of damage. It's going to be fighting an uphill battle from here.
The tough, rugged Sergeant Slaughter, looking to wear his opponent down, waiting for a chance to apply the Cobra Clutch.
And once he's got that hole locked in, you can pretty much ring the bell, JR. That's it. You can bet Sergeant Slaughter's going to inflict some military discipline on these maggots tonight. You know, I reckon being in the military is the perfect background for joining the WWE. You're already used to the pain, the torture, and the conditioning.
Slaughter's workout regime would wear most men out in seconds. He's built like a diesel big rig. Slaughter's really in touch with these fans. They love a man who served his country.
They love a man who can break his opponents in half, JR.
You may not like him, but no one can compare to Shawn Michaels for entertainment in that squared circle. No one can compare to his sheer athleticism. Shawn Michaels is in a league all by himself, King.
Well, there's no doubt about that. He's a phenomenal athlete. He competes on a different plane.
You want to talk extraordinary? It doesn't get any more extraordinary than that man right there. Shawn Michaels is the leader of the new generation of wrestling. I fully expect Michaels to fight hard throughout this one. The man's double tough. Whether you love Shawn or you hate him, it's really irrelevant. He's a magnificent fighting athlete with a phenomenal spirit. A lesser athlete would have been done there.
Well, I'm not sure a lesser athlete would be competing in the WWE, but I get your drift. Well, you've said that Michaels is resilient, but it looks like that's going to be tested here.
We know Shawn can go the distance. He's competed in Ironman matches, Wrestlemanias, and this man has never quit. And Michaels won't quit. Shawn won't quit as long as he's still breathing. The sweet chin music applied so many times by Shawn Michaels. Will he be playing it again here tonight? He's the man. There's no doubt about it, folks. Shawn Michaels is the man in the WWE.
Shawn Michaels will just throw caution to the wind in this one. You can be sure of that.
Austin's got the disposition of a Texas rattlesnake. His popularity is, well, it's absolutely phenomenal. And that's what's hard to figure out. He'll be the first guy to tell you Stone Cold is no role model.
Look at all these idiots with their Austin signs. That one says Stone Cold for president. Could you imagine that? If Austin ran the country, the national bird would be the finger. I know Austin's your boy, Ross, but you just can't trust that man. He's got the heart of a rattlesnake.
I respect him, King. He's a man of principle. He believes what he believes, and he's not willing to apologize for it. And I, for one, admire that. Austin, 6'2", 252 pounds. He's built like a quarter horse with big solid legs that allow him to just explode on offense.
He's definitely no thoroughbred, but I think he's more like one of those government mules you're always going on about. A complete jackass.
Austin sustained numerous injuries, a bad neck, a bad knee, but the heart is good. The heart will never quit, no matter what kind of pain he goes through. Say what you will about Austin, but the Rattlesnake is one tough SOB.
Well, I've said plenty about Stone Cold, but you don't seem to listen, Ross. You did say one thing I agree with, though. Austin is an SOB.
And they don't call him the toughest SOB in the WWE for nothing. It ain't a PR slogan. It's a fact. Man, can this guy fight? Austin might have more heart in his little finger than anybody else in the WWE. Austin will beat you physically, and he'll abuse you verbally.
Well, I don't mind getting beaten up. I just don't want to be talked to while it happens.
His name's Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I got a feeling tonight he'll unleash hell. Austin's getting him some. My God, what a competitor. The incomparable Texas Rattlesnake is delivering a hellacious beating, and these fans love it. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, is never afraid to splash his cash when it comes to humiliating people.
Oh, come on, JR. You know if DiBiase offered you $10, you'd be on your knees to kiss his feet, too.
It'd take a lot more than $10 to make me do that.
Everybody has a price, JR, and you need all the money you can get.
When you look at all the arrogant, conceited individuals in the WWE, there are few more vain than the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase.
Why is he vain, JR? I wish you'd stop being so jealous and just appreciate DiBiase for the great man he is.
Well, King, they say money corrupts, and perhaps none more so than the man right there, Ted DiBiase.
Money may corrupt, but I'd rather be corrupt than poor.
It's been well documented how the second-generation star, Ted DiBiase, created the $1 Million Championship. But like it or not, DiBiase was able to defend that championship to great effect.
There's nothing too good for the $1 Million Man, no matter how much it cost.
Makes me wonder if he'll ever be satisfied, King. There are some things that money can't buy.
I love how DiBiase just oozes confidence. I bet you think he's cocky.
You're right. I do think he's cocky.
And that's the difference between you and me, Ross. I recognize greatness. You can't recognize anything past the end of your nose.
Well, it doesn't take an acute olfactory to smell what The Rock plans to cook up in this one.
A what?
Get a dictionary, King.
Just look at The Rock, JR. He's a third-generation superstar, a former football player, and one of the best pure athletes on the roster.
You can never say enough about The Rock's athleticism, King, but even you have to admit his attitude can stink. At 6'5", 260 pounds, The Rock's got all the tools that he needs. And this young man, The Rock, is so ambitious. He'll feed off that drive and use it to keep in this one. And the great one's fighting his way through the pain here.
Come on, Rock. Keep it together.
I'm not sure whether he's stubborn or courageous, but The Rock is fighting back.
You can almost feel The Rock's confidence now. The Rock's playing mind games, JR.
And The Rock's taking time out to get under the skin of his opponent.
Would you listen to these WWE fans? They have the most electrifying man in sports entertainment in there, and all they can think to do is heckle him.
And would you listen to that? There's a lot of animosity toward The Rock in this building.
Oh, JR, would you make these people shut up?
Hey, it's their right to voice their opinion, and there's nothing you or I can do to stop it.
The Rock's got a body like a Greek god.
When it comes to conditioning, he's second to none, and that's been key to a lot of The Rock's victories.
When you look at The Rock, you're looking at one of the most successful superstars to enter the WWE ring.
But he's got to be careful, King, to not let it get to his head. Success can blind your perception. Sports entertainment runs thick in The Rock's bloodline. Family reunions were like wrestling conventions. The Rock, so fast, so smooth, so intense in everything he does.
He's not the most electrifying man in sports entertainment for nothing, you know.
The great one's an agile, strong, and resiliently gifted athlete. Like it or not, folks, The Rock may be the greatest competitor to ever enter the squared circle.
Undertaker is spooky intense. He's the phenom of the WWE for a reason.
Would you look at the size of the Undertaker? What a monster. The dead man's down. It's hard to keep him that way, but one thing's for sure. When he's down, he can't perform a tombstone piledriver or a chokeslam. Uh-oh, the demon of Death Valley is down. But can you really defeat a man who's supernatural? The demon of Death Valley, with a tremendous show of intestinal fortitude.
What are you going to do, Ross, if Undertaker was going to come out here and go after you? Because I wouldn't help you.
I wouldn't expect any help out of you. It is said the Undertaker has no fear. Mind games won't work on a man without fear.
You know, the Undertaker's got a lot of scary moves, but you have to think, each match is only a tombstone away from being over.
And that tombstone's enough to beat anyone.
The Undertaker's so unnerving. Everything about him just creeps me out.
And it's that uncertainty that gives the Undertaker the advantage in each match. The Phenom is such a powerhouse.
And that just makes him even scarier.
Yokozuna is unquestionably a monster.
If you think you're going to dominate a man of his stature, you're as big an idiot as those Oklahomans you're always going on about.
Normally, I'd be asking you for your thoughts on strategies here, King, but I don't think there's any short answer for facing Yokozuna.
You're right there, JR. I think you just got to come at him with all you've got and hope you can keep him down. Can we get a shot of Yokozuna's thighs? The world hasn't seen thighs like that since the Brontosaurus died out.
Yokozuna is one of the largest athletes to ever step into a ring. Just look at the size of him.
I don't know how you even go about wrestling him.
Yokozuna's taking some punishment, but he seems to be shrugging it off.
It probably hurts your fist more than it hurts him, JR.
How does he do it, King? Yokozuna just keeps on going.
The man's a monster, JR.
Yokozuna, trained by WWE Hall of Famers, the Wild Samoans, who you'd presume taught him how to take advantage of Yokozuna's superior size.
Without a doubt, JR. It's Yokozuna's best weapon, and that gives him a big advantage.
You've always got to watch out for Yokozuna's kicks. He may be a huge man, but he's got speed that'll catch you off guard.
You know, Yokozuna must be thinking at the moment, if he can just hit the bonsai drop, this match will be over.
There aren't many men who could kick out from that, King. Oh, and that rodent-like weasel, Bobby Heenan's out at ringside.
You can't say that. Heenan's just out to lend a helping hand.
That's what I'm worried about.
And as always, Heenan's at ringside here, keeping an eye on his investment.
Just as long as he doesn't try to get a bit more hands-on, that's just fine with me. I guess you'd better hope you've got eyes in the back of your head when Heenan's at ringside. Oh, come on. Did you see that? Heenan's getting involved.
I didn't see anything, JR. I don't know what you're talking about.
Heenan's sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. Oh, what a dastardly move by Heenan. Did you see that?
Did I see what?
What Heenan just did.
What who just did?
You're impossible, King. Impossible. Bobby the Brain Heenan bringing a different tone to this match. And never a good one.
JR, will you get off Heenan's back? He's just out here for support, that's all. When you've got Heenan in your corner, you've got a big advantage.
Shame it's not an honest one, King.
It's great seeing Heenan out here, taking care of his family, JR.
And Heenan's never afraid of getting involved to ensure his family gets the upper hand. And Heenan is still at ringside, waiting for his moment to strike.
Why don't you just call the match and stop worrying about Heenan? And the Mouth of the South's at ringside, cheering his client on.
And Lord knows we could do without that. Jimmy Hart and his big mouth standing at ringside to get a closer view of this match. Jimmy Hart with that megaphone at ringside. You know that could double as a weapon.
Why would he do that? Jimmy Hart doesn't need foreign objects. His mind's his greatest weapon.
Jimmy Hart's at ringside. And you know that's bad news for one of the competitors in this match.
Can you imagine how valuable having Jimmy Hart in your corner can be?
I can see how it'd be bad for his opponent. And Jimmy's got that annoying megaphone again.
Another smart move by Jimmy Hart.
There's that darn megaphone again. And the Mouth of the South is just itching to get involved here.
Stop presuming the worst.
I guess if there's one thing you can say about Jimmy Hart, he's not sneaky. Look at that jacket.
You know what, Ross? There's somebody at ringside that I just noticed. Mr. Fuji's here.
And the sneaky Mr. Fuji out here to offer support in this match. The slippery, snake-like Mr. Fuji keeping an eye on this match.
You can tell this match matters, Ross. Even Mr. Fuji's at ringside.
Oh, come on now. Fuji-san needs to stay out of this match.
You know you're something special when you've got Mr. Fuji in your corner, JR. He's a manager of champions.
And a dirty cheat, too, King. When Fuji's at ringside, you've always got to watch out for that blinding salt.
Fuji's such a great manager.
Well, thanks for that information, Einstein. You got to wonder what Mr. Fuji's planning out here.
I'd figure he's planning on managing, being as he's a manager and all. Will that Paul Bearer have an impact in this match?
Most definitely. Paul Bearer's an inspirational leader to every twisted, dark soul that's entered the WWE.
You look at that freak, Paul Bearer. Who let him out of the morgue?
And the bulbous freak, Paul Bearer, adding a disturbing presence to this match at ringside. The strength comes from the urn.
What's in that urn?
Hey, you're the guy that's supposed to find that out. You're a broadcast journalist.
Aren't you a broadcast journalist? I don't want to open that thing. You know how Paul Bearer got that urn?
I'm not sure I want to.
The old-fashioned way. He earned it.
That's pathetic. I'm going to get you thrown out of here if you keep that up.
What could be in that urn? A loved one? A hated one? That urn gives me the creeps. Why can't Bearer scatter the ashes of whatever's in there? Look out! The urn's back in this one.
As Gorilla Monsoon would say, Paul Bearer is a real piece of work.
You just can't help but look at how freaky he is.
You've always got to watch when Paul Bearer's at ringside. He's never afraid of getting involved.
Paul Bearer's a real distraction at ringside. You just can't help but look at how freaky he is. Paul Bearer looks like he's undead. Look at the shade of his skin.
Look at the Warrior. Have you ever seen him in better shape?
No way. Boy, is he ready. The Warrior's never been more focused and determined than he is right now.
Talk about intense. Nobody gets themselves more psyched up for a match than the Warrior.
No kidding. I don't think he feels any pain.
The Warrior runs north of 270, and every ounce of that is bone and muscle. The Warrior's so resilient, he seems to be able to summon energy back into that Herculean frame. We've seen this on a number of occasions, but the Ultimate Warrior is able to absorb an astounding amount of punishment.
The Ultimate Warrior will need the help of all his warriors to get by this kind of assault.
Well, if I know the Warrior like I think I do, he's not done yet.
Look at the Ultimate Warrior. Each one of his biceps should have their own area code. The Ultimate Warrior is totally unique. The WWE's never seen anyone with this level of intensity, and I doubt we ever will again. As we've said before, the Warrior is intensity personified. I don't know where he gets that inner strength.
Nobody runs on the same high-level octane like the Ultimate Warrior. There's no slowdown, no quit. It's just pedal to the metal for the Warrior. Michael P.S. Hayes, 6'2", north of 250 pounds. He'd like to have his mouth do the fighting, but he's not going to be so lucky.
Michael's too good to have to compete for these mongoloids. In fact, he was getting a petition together to sit this one out.
The only petition I'd sign involving Hayes is one to ban that Bad Street USA music video.
Hayes is looking fabulous tonight.
Personally, I'd just like to see him catch a fabulous beating. The brash Michael Hayes, with that handsome head of hair, is always one to speak his mind. Michael Hayes taking a tremendous beating. And P.S., I'm loving it. P.S. doesn't know where he is. What an assault!
Come on, Michael. Keep it together. You can do it.
Michael Hayes hails from Bad Street. And with an ominous origin like that, it's no wonder Hayes turned out the way he did.
Have you ever seen anything quite like that blonde hair on Michael Hayes?
I have, but never on anybody with a Y chromosome.
If Michael Hayes wasn't in professional wrestling, he'd still be a superstar in rock and roll.
Jerry, if Michael Hayes wasn't in professional wrestling, he'd be in jail.
Batista really is an animal.
The name signifies his intense ferocity, his beast-like strength and quickness. Batista is as lethal as they come. You talk about raw power. You talk about intensity. Have you ever seen a superstar like Batista?
The man's pure impact. Batista has beaten the biggest names in the industry today, including wins over Triple H and The Undertaker.
He's called the Animal for a reason. Batista's one of the most aggressive superstars today. And would you look at the eyes of the Animal?
He's scary intense, JR. The beast has definitely been unleashed.
Batista is an unstoppable force. The man's an absolute beast. There's no stopping the juggernaut Batista. He's an incredible force and a dominating superstar.
Man, how do you avoid getting your head taken off by the Big Show?
I can't tell you. The man's fists are like wrecking balls. The Big Show has a size 18 6E boot, and his sledgehammer-like fists are measured at a whopping 15 inches.
And getting hit with either of those just causes so much damage.
What kind of approach should opponents take against the Big Show?
Well, you need to take out that vertical base. But in order to do that, you got to get in close. And that's just suicide.
How do superstars even begin to stop the Big Show?
I don't know, JR. He's over 440 pounds. He's the size of an entire tag team.
The Big Show's over 7 feet tall. He's over 400 pounds. He's a force of nature.
You got that right. The man's capable of so much destruction.
And at 7 feet and well north of 400 pounds, the Big Show is the world's largest athlete. At over 7 feet tall, when the Big Show lifts you up for a choke slam, you plummet over 10 feet to the ground. The power and the strength of the Big Show are just uncanny. The Boogeyman is definitely one of the more eccentric personalities in the WWE.
Eccentric or horrifying, JR? This guy gives me some serious nightmares. With all of his worms, you'd think the Boogeyman would make a good fishing buddy, JR?
Fishing buddy? Maybe if you wanted to end up as bait.
The Boogeyman is absolutely one of the scariest superstars I've ever seen perform, JR.
If he's scary to you, King, how do you think his opponents feel about him? The Boogeyman doesn't fight like any superstar we've ever seen before.
No way. He's as hard to predict as he is to pin.
Without question, the Boogeyman's unorthodox. He possesses one of the most unique in-ring styles we've ever encountered in the WWE. Is there anything that Brian Kendrick won't put his body through to ensure a victory?
His body? How about his opponent's body? Brian Kendrick has to be a little crazy to attempt some of these moves.
This Brian Kendrick is tough. He's a high flyer with no limits to the risk he'll take. Young Brian Kendrick is a skilled athlete with a mountain of heart. Carlito's jackrabbit quick and as cagey as a rat.
You got that right. You turn your back on him and he'll stab you in the back. Literally.
Carlito's an incredibly gifted second-generation wrestler.
He's skilled and confident. And those are two things you need to make it in the WWE.
Carlito is so agile, so athletic.
It's only a matter of time before he sneaks behind his opponent's back and then wham! I hate to admit it, but Carlito can do some pretty cool things in the ring.
He's a talented tag team wrestler, an impressive singles competitor, and lethal in ladder matches.
These people might not respect Chavo Guerrero, but they have to respect the legendary Guerrero family.
And like him or not, Chavo's earned his spot in their rich history. It's hard to overlook Chavo's toughness, athletic prowess, and ability to defy the odds.
It'd be smart for an opponent to never take their eyes off Chavo Guerrero.
Smart? More like crucial. Chavo's been known to cash in on any advantage he can, clean or otherwise.
Chavo's such an opportunist. I can't remember the last time he won a fair fight. Do you?
My memory's not that good. But regardless, until somebody stops him, he'll continue to win.
Everyone says they can't take their eyes off of Chavo, JR, and neither can I.
That's good advice. You never know when he might try to hit you from behind.
Jericho's never lacking in confidence, that's for sure.
And it's that kind of attitude that helped make him the first undisputed champion in the WWE.
Y2J is just so fast.
He's double fast. If you're not moving quickly, he'll beat you on each punch. The pugnacious Jericho possesses very educated feet.
Educated? They have a doctorate in tattooing.
CM Punk possesses highly swift and highly stiff kicks in his arsenal.
When a Punk kick connects, you can hear it up in the rafters. CM Punk's as much attitude as he is talent, and both of those are extreme.
CM Punk's incredibly resilient. This young man's tougher than a $2 steak. CM Punk lives that straight-edge lifestyle. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, and he doesn't do any drugs. He's a competitor and, quite frankly, a role model. Cody Rhodes is really a shining example of the young breed of WWE superstar.
He's a fighter. There's no quit in Cody. Wow, watching Cody, you can't help but see glimmers of his old man.
Yeah, but let's face it, his daddy was never in the phenomenal shape that Cody exhibits here today. Cody Rhodes shows so much poise for someone who's been in the profession a relatively short time.
Come on, JR. Didn't you ever wrestle with your dad? Well, Cody's is a WWE Hall of Famer.
I can't help but root for Cody Rhodes. He's an outstanding, valiant young competitor in the world of sports entertainment. He's the grandson of a plumber and the son of a Hall of Famer. This valiant man has been genetically engineered to work hard and to fight harder. I'll tell you, Curt Hawkins never goes down without a fight.
Why would he, JR? With Edge and Ryder watching his back, he comes with a little insurance. As young as Curt Hawkins is, it's scary to think what an influence Edge has on him.
Like him or not, Edge is a very influential superstar. And when you got a winning record, a lot of folks listen.
You think Hawkins is 100% loyal to Edge and Zack Ryder, JR?
As many pranks as we've seen them pull, I wouldn't trust any of them as far as I could throw them. Curt Hawkins' ruthlessness is only possibly outmatched by his talent. It doesn't appear that Edge is getting much love from this crowd tonight, and who can blame them? They're certainly not getting much from Edge.
That's not true, JR. I'm sure this arena is just full of Edge heads tonight. You might not hear them cheering, but that's probably because they're in awe of the fact that they're watching their favorite superstar.
Or maybe it's because the Edge heads turned on Edge right about the same time he turned on them, King. I think they do a pretty good job of making themselves heard, but with those boos instead of cheers now.
Edge is definitely the one superstar who would stop at nothing to get what he wants.
It's true, King. There really are no limits to what Edge would do to ensure a win.
I'll tell you, it'd be a mistake for any of Edge's opponents to take their eyes off him.
He's proven time and time again that he can strike as soon as he sees an opening.
The rated R superstar is as egotistical as he is vicious. That, with his intelligence, creates a deadly combination.
Edge is an opulent opportunist, an extremely gifted athlete, and highly focused on being the very best.
Edge might be plotting and brash, but you can't deny he's also one of the most gifted wrestlers in the WWE.
Festus and his partner Jesse have worked well together since debuting in the WWE.
Absolutely. That Festus really knows how to get the job done. Festus is the WWE's official Pavlovian dog.
The sleeping giant becomes a demented monster when the bell rings. What's your take on the change that Festus undergoes?
It makes me very uncomfortable to think of all that pin-up rage, but at least he can let it out now.
Festus is so big and strong. It's almost impossible to stop this immovable force. Festus brings an unorthodox offense. It's tremendously powerful. His clubbing blows can crush a normal man's skull. Finley hails from the Irish Isles, and I got to think that when they coined the term Fighting Irish, they had this lad in mind.
You might be right. I've never seen a guy who likes to fight as much as Finley.
And that's probably because he's damn good at it. He spent his whole life fighting, and every time he gets into that ring, he puts on a clinic.
Yeah, and most of his opponents wind up having to go to the clinic afterward. I wonder if we're going to see Finley hit his opponent with that, what do you call that thing? That club he carries around?
You mean his shillelagh?
Gesundheit. Next time you got to sneeze, cover your mouth, JR. I love watching Finley in action, JR. He loves to fight, and it shows.
Boy, if that isn't the truth. I think he'd do nothing but if he had his way.
A lot of people won't admit it, but Finlay might be the craftiest superstar in the WWE.
More importantly, Finlay's scared of nothing and no one.
This guy Finlay's no pushover. He might be pound for pound one of the toughest men I know.
Finlay hails from Belfast, Ireland. And if you know anything about Belfast, you'll understand how Finlay turned out as tough as he has.
Does Hardcore Holly ever smile, JR?
Maybe on the inside, King.
Well, he's not giving his opponents anything to smile about, that's for sure. Hardcore's bilingual, JR. He speaks English and fluent redneck.
Bob Holly's not really known for his talking. He lets his actions speak for him. You won't find many guys tougher than Hardcore Holly. This guy has established himself in this industry using nothing but hard work. One thing you can always count on from Hardcore Holly is a smash-mouth attack. It won't be pretty, but it will be physical. Hardcore might be one of the toughest son-of-a-guns in the WWE today. We've seen him endure so much punishment and continue to fight. Boy, JBL sure is a piece of work. He's got every advantage in the world, money, talent, athletic ability, and it's still not enough for him.
That's what makes JBL so great, JR. He never sits back and rests on his laurels. He's always setting his sights higher.
And I have no problem with that. That's an admirable attitude. But JBL doesn't just try to improve himself. He spends a lot of time and effort trying to sabotage everyone else who might challenge him.
He's just protecting his spot, JR. You forget, JBL has a lot more to lose than you or me. He's a legend in this business. Heck, he's a legend in business, period.
Well, if that truly were the case, I don't think he'd be so concerned with everyone else trying to overshadow him. I think JBL's a great deal less confident in his abilities than he lets on.
Look at JBL out there. He looks good, doesn't he?
I've never questioned JBL's ability. Tactics, maybe, but never his ability.
JBL's tactics, as you call them, led to him becoming the longest reigning WWE champion in SmackDown history.
I think old JBL also set a Texas record for most consecutive matches won by cheating. Well, I have to admit, the only man on Wall Street with a cowboy hat, JBL, is looking pretty good out there. What is going through his mind in this match?
I think that right about now, he's hoping you weren't screwing up the commentary too badly.
JBL is as vicious as a rabid dog. So calculating.
He might have all the money in the world, but he lacks an ounce of moral fiber.
If you get on JBL's bad side, he'll pay you back with interest, or you'll go bankrupt.
And it's definitely not hard to get on his bad side.
JBL possesses one of the most hostile attitudes in the WWE.
He's always looking for a merger, JR, like merging a haymaker with his opponent's face. He's a financial wizard, but JBL's completely ignorant when it comes to things that you can't put a price on.
Yeah, things like honor, respect, and sportsmanship. He might wear a cowboy hat to the ring, but I'm really proud to say that that's the only thing I have in common with John Bradshaw Layfield. He might be a self-made millionaire, but JBL's also a self-made, mean, nasty SOB. WWE's traveled to just about every country, and Jeff Hardy's got fans in every single one.
He's a one-of-a-kind phenomenon, no doubt about it.
Hardy is just so courageous and such a go-getter.
It's going to take a lot to keep Jeff down.
It takes more than most superstars have.
Is there anything Jeff Hardy's afraid of?
If there is, his opponent doesn't have it.
Where does Jeff Hardy draw the line between winning a match and sacrificing his body?
I think he learned a long time ago that if he's willing to cross lines his opponents won't, it usually ends up in a win. Jeff Hardy is about as hard to predict as any superstar in the WWE. You want to talk about excitement. You want to talk about drive to win. Look no further than Jeff Hardy. Without question, there's no superstar in WWE hotter than Jeff Hardy. Jesse possesses so many great attributes, but one of his greatest might be his toughness.
It takes a lot to keep Jesse down.
You might overlook Jesse's athleticism with that Colossus Festus always nearby, but doing so would be a huge mistake.
You're so busy worrying about Festus, you don't even notice Jesse delivering death from above.
Jesse's not only an amazing superstar, but he's a good man, too. He's been an incredibly positive influence on his partner, Festus. High Flyer Jesse is an incredible mat wrestler also. That combination will lead to a lot of success in the WWE. How many more aerial maneuvers can Jimmy Wang Yang cram into his matches?
The sky's the limit, JR, whether his opponent likes it or not.
Jimmy Wang Yang's athletic ability is without equal.
You'd really have to look hard to find a superstar that can keep up with him.
King, where do you think that Jimmy Wang Yang learned all these high-flying maneuvers?
I'd imagine getting tossed off a couple of Broncos would be a good warm-up for the kind of action you'd expect in the WWE.
Jimmy Wang Yang is always a highlight for these WWE fans each and every night. When Jimmy Wang Yang is in the ring, you know you're going to get your money's worth, King. Jimmy Wang Yang reminds me of those kinds of TV cowboys that I grew up loving. That true grit attitude, Pilgrim. That Cena's a phenomenal fighter.
The last thing you want to do with John Cena is trade punches. He'll bombard you with shock and awe.
Cena's not a technical pugilist. He's a power slugger.
He's also one of the greatest superstars in the industry today.
You talk about desire. You talk about passion. You're talking about John Cena. Cena looks to be in fantastic shape here tonight. He regularly trains like a Marine during Hell Week. He's aggressive. He's determined. He's a champion through and through, and his name is John Cena. I might not understand Cena's hip-hop lifestyle, because I don't have any bling, but I know for a fact that Cena's a true competitor, a modern-day gladiator. The Brawler from West Newbury, Massachusetts, is incredibly strong and incredibly resilient. In the chest of John Cena beats the heart of a lion, a heart of a champion. As I said before, Morrison might be one of the best young athletes in the WWE today. And that's saying something, Jerome.
Yeah, but it's hard to deny. The man's almost always holding a championship title. John Morrison is one of the most athletic competitors in the WWE.
Hey, I think he's a bit too self-assured, but there's no denying his physical prowess. Morrison's corkscrew neckbreaker is just so devastating.
Oh, yeah, JR. When he delivers one of those, you can consider his opponent out. John Morrison is as strong as he is flexible.
And he's peerless at forming those two attributes into a lethal combination.
I have to constantly remind myself that John Morrison's still relatively young.
With the ease in which he operates, you'd think that he's been doing this for decades. The extremely athletic John Morrison could very well be the future of the WWE. JTG is a terrific competitor in the ring. He hates to lose a match.
Almost as much as he hates losing money, which I don't think I've ever seen him do.
He's quite the entrepreneur, no doubt about it. To JTG, it's all about the money.
Instead of saying money, money, I think he should practice saying the words not guilty. JTG's not just a talented athlete, he's also an honor student.
I think you might be mistaken unless you're saying he came from the school of hard knocks.
No, it's true. He's an honor student. He's always saying, yes, Your Honor, no, Your Honor.
JTG grew up on the mean streets of Brooklyn, New York, and this kid's got some hustle to him.
I know. He hustled me out of $50 backstage last week.
I'm sure you're not the only one. He's got quite the head for business, does old JTG.
JTG's always giving shout-outs to his friends. Have you ever given a shout-out?
Well, you know, once I dropped a bowling ball to my foot, and I screamed like a pig under a gate. That's about as close as I've ever come to a shout-out. JTG is looking to add one to the win column by hook or by crook.
Mostly crook. I'll admit it. It's a little scary to watch up close, but I love watching Kane go to work. He's practically unstoppable.
He's certainly not stopped by conscience, that's for sure. Kane will crush anyone and anything that stands between him and his objective.
You say that like it's a bad thing, JR. I think it's great. No one forces a superstar to get into the ring against Kane, and if they aren't up to the challenge, they're probably not cut out for the WWE.
The very sight of Kane makes my blood run cold. What an inhuman monster he is.
You say monster like it's a bad thing, JR. But everyone loves a monster, whether they want to admit it or not. Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman never go out of style.
Well, there's a big difference between seeing a monster in a movie and knowing that a real-life monster like Kane is walking the earth, King.
Wow! Would you look at the size of Kane? The man's got scary strength.
There's no insurance coverage for going toe-to-toe with a Big Red Machine. The Big Red Machine is a 300-pound monster that strikes fear in the heart of his opponents. King Kofi Kingston is the first Jamaican in the WWE.
And I can see why he's always smiling. It'll be a while until the rest of the superstars figure out a way to stop him.
Old Kofi's got one of the brightest smiles I've ever seen.
Definitely, JR. I'm sure some of his opponents look up and think they've got truck headlights coming right at them.
How do you think Kofi's opponents feel about his island style of wrestling?
I'm pretty sure they don't have time to think about it. Kofi's always on the offensive.
Kofi Kingston has only been wrestling in the WWE for a short time, but in that time, he has been mighty doggone impressive. Kofi's a unique superstar, to say the least. He has an unorthodox moveset that's just too quick for most of the locker room to handle. Matt Hardy won't just not die. He won't give up either.
I can't believe how much punishment this guy can take in a match.
Matt Hardy's always ready to prove himself in the ring.
What's left for him to prove? He's practically done it all in the WWE. Matt Hardy is so tough, this guy can take a licking and just keep on ticking.
Matthew Hardy loves to get extreme, loves to go airborne, and deliver some thunderous impact.
One of the perks of being Mark Henry is that there aren't many people who can stop you from doing anything you want to do.
That's true. The world's strongest man is a terrifying human being, and he's capable of seriously injuring his opponents.
And that's supposed to be a bad thing? How many times do I have to say it? This is not ballet.
No one's saying that he is, but Mark Henry takes everything to new heights of viciousness.
There's no doubt in my mind that Mark Henry really is the world's strongest man. The power of this guy is absolutely incredible.
It's downright scary is what it is. We've seen Mark Henry absolutely destroy his opponents, and I hope we're not going to see more of the same here tonight.
Look, anyone who gets in the ring with Mark Henry knows exactly what to expect, and if they're dumb enough to do it, that's their problem.
For the life of me, I'll never understand why Mark Henry resorts to such brutal tactics. He's already the world's strongest man. For goodness sakes, what's he got left to prove?
Listen. Every time Henry gets in that ring with someone, he's sending a message to the whole locker room. And that's what you've got to do to get ahead around here.
Well, if you ask me, a victory is message enough. But Mark Henry seems to enjoy dishing out senseless brutality.
I love watching Mark Henry wrestle. No one else in this business can take an opponent apart the way he can.
You say that like it's a good thing. I wish Henry would focus more on winning matches and less on ending careers. I don't use the word evil lightly, but that's what comes to mind when I see the delight Mark Henry takes in destroying his fellow superstars.
Evil's just a word that losers like you use to describe people who'll do whatever it takes to win. I think Henry would take that as a compliment. Kennedy's not shy about saying what's on his mind, and you got to appreciate that.
To drive home a point, Kennedy's brash, cocky, self-assured, egotistical, and most definitely not short on confidence. And the guy's a winner.
You look up any one of those words in the dictionary, and you'll find Kennedy's mug staring back at you.
Even though at times I question Kennedy's tactics, the man can wrestle. He can get it done in the ring. Mr. Kennedy will do anything, and I mean anything, to get a win. Kennedy has made a huge impact since entering the WWE, an impact he's looking to continue here tonight.
MVP's done a lot of scouting on the competition in the WWE.
And on many occasions, that's given him the required competitive advantage to overcome his opponents. MVP is half man, half amazing. I don't claim to understand his lifestyle, but I know for a fact that MVP is an incredible athlete and a brutal competitor.
How great is MVP? I mean, he's half man and half amazing.
Well, I might not be exchanging holiday cards with MVP anytime soon, but I can appreciate his in-ring talent. Orton might not lack any athletic ability, but some might say Orton lacks integrity.
Oh, just say it. Orton's a coward, plain and simple. He'd rather be disqualified than risk a loss.
Many say that Randy Orton's full of himself.
Full of himself? I'd say Orton's a religious man. He worships himself.
Cold and calculating, Orton stalks his opponents with those uncaring blue eyes.
You've called him a snake in the grass, and that's exactly what he is.
A third-generation, one-man dynasty is Randy Orton.
Like him or not, JR, Orton is the evolution of sports entertainment. You got to watch out for Orton and that RKO. Orton glides around the ring, almost slithering, looking to strike with the RKO.
Orton just has that viper-like mindset, a mindset that helps give him an uncanny ability to counter and strike.
You know, Mysterio's done an incredible job of making up for his lack of size with tremendous speed and innovation.
Ray's all about high risk and flawless execution. Mysterio is quicker than a hiccup and resilient. We've seen time and time again where you think you have him finished and he springs back to life. And the high flyer Mysterio loves to throw his body at his opponent to deliver tremendous impact. Rey Mysterio is so fast, so agile, and so talented. He's proven that he's championship material. I'm always in awe of the little masked man's feats of athleticism. He's just an incredible talent. The Nature Boy possesses an unparalleled tenacity. You and I have known Nate's for a lot of years. And on occasions, if it weren't for bandages, he wouldn't have a wardrobe at all. But he still found a way to compete and to win. There is no question in my mind that Ric Flair is one of the true legends of this business.
Yeah, not to mention the dirtiest player in the game.
I'll be the first to admit that the Nature Boy's taken some liberties with the rules from time to time.
From time to time? Flair's a 16-time champion, and if any of those title reigns started with a clean victory, I'll eat my crown. I don't get it, JR. Whenever most superstars cheat, you're all over them. But whenever Flair does it, you turn a blind eye.
Hey, I'm not oblivious to the Nature Boy's casual relationship with the rules. But it's a little late in the game to hope that this leopard's going to change his spots.
Boy, the Nature Boy doesn't let anything stand in his way, including the rules.
Well, when you get into the ring against a man who calls himself the dirtiest player in the game, you should know what you're getting into. You know, Shad and his crime-time partner, JTG, had a spotless record for their first several months on Raw.
Well, a spotless win-loss record anyway.
You know, as hard as it might be to believe, I don't think they've ever actually been convicted of anything.
Yeah, I met their lawyer. That guy could sell snow to an Eskimo.
Primetime's big man Shad is looking to lift a victory right out of the pocket of his opponent here.
By the way, have you checked your wallet and watch lately?
I just did, as a matter of fact.
Boy, there's not a lot of finesse to Shad's style, is there?
Not at all. And that hasn't been much of a detriment to this big brawler from Brooklyn. Do you think that old Santino's opponents find his demeanor as entertaining as the rest of us, King?
I doubt it, JR. The way he treats them, there's not a lot to laugh about.
Either way, you know there'll be no shortage of entertainment when Santino's in the ring.
Santino's got a lot of weapons he can use against his opponents.
Are you referring to his physical prowess, King?
Actually, I mean his mixture of punches and punch lines. It's crazy to think about the influence Santino's had on the WWE in such a short time.
I don't think it'd be that crazy if you ask his opponents. They feel that influence in every match. The resiliency of Shawn Michaels is just unparalleled in this industry.
How many times have we seen him get knocked down only to bounce back up and win a match? He's just incredible.
You just know the showstopper's looking for that chance to tune up the band.
Hey, Sweet Chin Music is one of Shawn's greatest hits.
Simply put, HBK is the best big match competitor ever in the WWE. The high-flying Shawn Michaels will stop at nothing to come away with a win. The gold standard is an elite athlete. Among other things, he possesses the best vertical leap in the WWE.
And that allows him to pull off amazing moves. Shelton Benjamin's always straddling the line between confident and cocky.
Until somebody can consistently keep him down, you gotta say it's confidence.
Shelton Benjamin knows how to make these matches really exciting to watch.
The gold standard takes pleasure in proving that in his mind, he's the future of the WWE.
The WWE has a lot of young guns running around, but Shelton has everything it takes to separate himself from that crowd.
Shelton Benjamin is equal parts speed, technical prowess, and strength.
The scariest thing about Snitsky isn't his size or his strength. It's the fact that he just doesn't care about anyone or anything.
We've seen that time and time again from the man with the yellow teeth. And we're seeing that here tonight in this match.
It might be the last thing his opponent ever sees.
I don't know how the WWE or the American Dental Association can allow a monster like Snitsky to compete.
Simple. A monster like Snitsky makes the rest of the roster kick it up a notch. You can't just go through the motions when you're in a match with a guy who wants to rip your head off.
You might be right, but I have to wonder if the risk is worth the reward.
Talk about intimidating. Snitsky's got everything it takes to be a dominating force in the WWE.
And that worries me. I'd hate to have a monster like Snitsky having his run of the place. Seeing this hideous freak Snitsky in action sends a chill all the way up my Oklahoma spine.
This guy's like a monster movie brought to life. Somebody better round up some villagers with torches.
Taz possesses so much toughness.
And you don't want Taz to get his hands around you. He's like a pit bull when he gets locked in.
Taz will get down to basics to wear down his opponents.
There's no flash, not a lot of risk, but plenty of pain and punishment.
Taz is simply ruthless and relentless in his approach.
Come on, JR. Taz is a thug. Just a mean, nasty thug.
Taz calls himself the human suplex machine. He knows how to throw you from every angle.
Taz really likes to utilize that low center of gravity of his to toss his opponents around the ring. I hate to admit it, but when I look at superstars like the great Khali, part of me is glad I don't wrestle that much anymore.
Well, you'd have to be a masochist to want to compete with a 7-foot, 420-pound nightmare like Khali.
The word giant gets thrown around a lot, but the great Khali is the real deal.
He sure is. I can't even begin to imagine where they found a monster like the great Khali.
I don't know, but I wish I did, just so I could stay the heck away from there.
You and me both, partner. I got a case of the limber tail just sitting this close to him. How do you approach a match with someone like the 7'3", 420-pound great Khali?
Well, part of the problem is that there aren't any guys like him. All you can do is just keep moving and don't let him get his hands on you.
And I can only imagine that that's a lot easier said than done. Khali must take up at least a quarter of the ring as it is.
This great Khali is a bona fide monster. I feel sorry for anyone who's got to get in the ring with him.
So do I. You get the feeling this freak of nature Khali isn't here just to win matches. He wants to end careers.
You know, I always try to be impartial, but I'll cheer for anyone who's going up against The Miz.
I bet you'd like nothing better for The Miz to be embarrassed here tonight.
Why not, JR? He's way too confident for his own good.
And he's way too good for his opponents to get overconfident. Where do you think you'd rank The Miz among the WWE superstars?
Well, I guess he's been here long enough to start earning his keep. He's even had some success here and there.
Some success? The guy's held titles, King. And he'll probably accomplish a lot more in his career. The Miz has had an impressive career thus far in the WWE, holding tag team gold.
He's cocky, he's arrogant, and he can back up all that talking. The Miz is like the high school bully that got the cheerleaders. I can't help but root for any opponent that faces him. I don't know where Tommy Dreamer gets his no-quit attitude, but he definitely digs down deep.
Dreamer's never seen an Extreme Rules match that he didn't like. Tommy Dreamer has sacrificed his mangled body countless times for ECW.
He's definitely extreme, no denying that. Tommy Dreamer has an old-school work ethic with a new-school extreme attitude.
Tommy's got one of the biggest hearts on the planet. This Dreamer doesn't know the meaning of the word quit. How do you prepare for a match against Tommy Dreamer, King?
You scout the ring and make sure all of the sharp and blunt objects are gone.
The game has said on many occasions that he will do anything and pay any price to be the WWE champion.
And he's meant it. Nobody cares more about being the best than Triple H.
Triple H is not a personal guy. By his own admission, a manipulator. But he is the king of kings and a ferocious competitor.
Well, he's power hungry, no doubt about that.
Triple H is so aggressive. He's just looking to punish his opponents and prove his dominance. Triple H isn't called the cerebral assassin for nothing. He's always one, maybe two, steps ahead of his opponents. The game has been there. He knows what it's like to compete at this level on a regular basis. And the game likes to fight. He loves to open it up and take his opponent to the limit. The cerebral assassin doesn't make many mistakes. He likes to trap his opponents, lure them in, and force them to make the mistake. When Triple H is on top of his game, no pun intended, there are few that can hang with him in a wrestling match.
There's nobody, and I mean nobody, better in the WWE than that man right there, Triple H.
There's no doubt that Triple H has reached a level in this business that few others ever have. When I look at Triple H, I can't help but be put on edge. The man is completely unpredictable. Man, would you look at the size and the speed of Umaga? I've never seen a superstar that big move so quickly.
No kidding. He really is a Samoan bulldozer.
Yeah, that's what they call him, and damned if I could find a better description. You don't want to get on this man's bad side.
You're assuming that he's got another side, JR. I'm not going to take any chances. I'm just going to stay out of his way. Man, I don't mind telling you, JR, this Umaga scares the heck out of me.
He's a savage. He's primal, a carnivore, like some kind of wild animal.
Yeah, and if he wasn't competing in the WWE, they'd probably have him locked up in a cage and charge admission just to see him.
It doesn't matter who Umaga's in the ring against or how I feel about them personally. I pity them.
I know what you mean, JR. I don't even know if Umaga understands the whole concept of winning a match. I think he just hits his opponent until they don't get up anymore.
And I don't care how tough you are, after going a few rounds with a Samoan bulldozer, not getting up must start to seem like a pretty good idea.
Man, look at the size of Umaga. What do you feed a guy to get him that big, JR?
I don't even want to guess, King, because it looks to me like Umaga's got a hungry eye on his opponent. They call him the Samoan bulldozer, and you don't get closer to the truth than that.
No kidding. He's just about as big and almost as strong. And the only difference is you can turn a bulldozer off if something goes wrong.
Without a shadow of a doubt, the Dead Man has to be the most resilient superstar in the history of the WWE.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you can knock him down, he pops back up like he's rising from the grave. The Undertaker is so good, and he can just beat you so many ways.
He's a high-flying risk-taker, a master at submissions, and the best striker in the business. The Demon of Death Valley stands 6'10", a lean 300 pounds.
And would you look at those cold, almost lifeless steel blue eyes? Man, is the Phenom intense.
He's so strong is the Dead Man, but you can't forget his cat-like agility.
It's one of the things that makes Undertaker so unique.
If you do battle with the Undertaker, he takes a part of you with him, your soul. When you step in that ring with the Phenom, you're not in a wrestling match. You're in a war. The Undertaker has no remorse, no empathy for the pain he delivers. The Undertaker is a 6'10" assault weapon, the best pure striker in the history of the business.
I have to admit it, JR, I'm a huge fan of William Regal's. He's been in this business a long time, and he's never lost his edge.
Maybe not, but I wish he'd lose some of that viciousness and arrogance. It's just a damn shame that such an accomplished superstar should be such a jackass. Like him or not, there's no denying the UK's William Regal's toughness, fire, and resiliency.
If the English had had 20 of him during the Revolutionary War, we'd still be speaking... Oh, wait a minute.
Take all the time you need, King. We'll just enjoy the silence. Well, William Regal is about as much a gentleman as he is trustworthy.
What are you saying, JR? He's got the accent. He carries himself with respect. What more do you need?
King Regal doesn't show much respect for his opponents now, does he?
King Regal approaches his matches the same way he probably approaches a game of croquet or badminton.
Maybe, King, but I'd hate to see how much equipment Regal ends up breaking if you're correct. With the kind of talent he displays, you'd think that Zack Ryder could leave Edge's shadow, don't you think?
No doubt, JR, but don't forget, jackals travel in packs. Zack Ryder's ruthless without limits, JR.
How can you be surprised? After spending so much time with Edge, he learned from the best.
Zack Ryder might be a prankster, but he's also tough as nails.
I agree completely, King. You put those two things together, and his opponent is in for a long match.
Ryder really is turning a lot of heads since arriving in the WWE.
Of course, but most of those are by twisting necks.
You're right about that. The guy's as mean as they come. Mr. McMahon has had his share of critics over the years, but as far as I'm concerned, they're all just a bunch of jealous losers.
Well, I reckon there's a lot to be jealous of. He's the billionaire chairman of the most powerful sports entertainment company in history.
And how many billionaires do you see getting into the ring and putting their bodies on the line like this?
Well, that'd be a short list, that's for sure.
Mr. McMahon is one of the greatest human beings it has ever been my privilege to know. What an incredible, inspirational figure he is.
You know, I hope the WWE chairman doesn't stop too suddenly, or your head might wind up stuck in a very uncomfortable place.
I'm glad you're working on a career as a stand-up comedian, because you won't last much longer around here with that attitude.
He's as ruthless in the ring as he is in the boardroom. Try asking the man for a raise. Mr. McMahon will do whatever it takes to win.
And I hope you're not trying to say that like it's a bad thing.
No comment, compadre. Believe me, I have no desire to get on Mr. McMahon's bad side again.
Mr. McMahon is an American icon. His face should be on the dollar bill. Or maybe $1 billion bill.
Knowing the chairman, I'm sure he wouldn't object to having 1 billion self-portraits. 1, 2, 2, 3, no! 3, oh, I thought that was it. 3, no, he kicked out. Phew. We're talking inches. We're talking inches away from a pinfall. 3, it's over. No, it's not. 3, no, oh, that was close. 3, and there's the cover. And here's the pin. Looks like he's trying for a pin here.
There's the pin. He's going for the pin. Here's the cover, JR. He could pin him right here.
He's trying for a pin here. This could be a pinfall. And now a pin. This could be it. He may get the 3 count here. We could be looking at a pinfall here, folks.
Here's the pin. Could this be it? He's a 3 count away from a pinfall. There's only a few things you have to avoid doing in a match. And having your shoulders touch the mat for 3 seconds is one of them.
And you know better than anyone how difficult that can be, King.
Absolutely, JR. Sometimes, no matter how hard you try, you just can't kick out. Well, he did what he came to do. He beat down his opponent until he could get the pinfall.
That's the way it's done, King. Nothing ambiguous about that outcome.
You're right about that, JR. He clearly dominated his opponent.
You don't have to like it, but that pinfall left no question who won this match.
That's for sure, JR. If your shoulders are down for the 3 count, you lose, period.
But despite the outcome of the match, I don't think the score is settled between these superstars.
I've pinned a lot of superstars in my day, JR, and it's tougher than it looks.
No question about that, King. He had to work for that pin.
And tonight, he was the better man. But I wonder what would happen in a rematch.
There's no question that was a hard-fought pin, King.
I'm actually surprised at the outcome, JR. That match went a lot differently than I thought it would.
Well, that just goes to show you. Anything can happen in WWE.
He might have gotten the pinfall, but no one walks away from a match like that unscathed.
Oh, you're right about that, King. He'll be hurting for certain tomorrow.
But I tell you what, JR, getting the win takes a lot of the edge off of the pain.
Talk about a restaurant-quality beatdown. There's no question who won that one.
That's as decisive as you can get. I think tapping out is the worst way to end a match. It's like quitting.
Maybe so, King, but I don't think there was any way out of that submission hold.
There's always a way out, JR. It's just a matter of being able to take the pain.
Tapping out might be painful, but not as painful as suffering a serious injury if you don't.
Come on, JR. There must have been some way to get out of that submission hold.
I don't think so, King. The hole was just locked in too tight.
He came in with a game plan, JR. He worked over his opponent until he could get the submission.
He sure did, King. He was like a surgeon in there, focusing on that one injured area with precision.
Speaking of surgeons, his opponent might need to see one after that match.
His opponent tried to hang on, but the pain was just too great.
I don't think I would have done any differently, JR. It was either tap out or suffer a serious injury.
There's only one choice to make in a situation like that, but that doesn't make it any easier.
Boy, when you make your opponent tap out, you don't leave any doubt in anyone's mind who dominated who.
That's for sure. Tapping out is the last thing any superstar wants to do, but sometimes it's all you can do.
And that's exactly what we saw here tonight. What a match!
You talk about physical domination. There's no question who won that match.
Not after his opponent tapped out, JR. I guess we know who the better superstar is.
Well, one match doesn't decide anything, King. I'd love to see them go at it again.
I never would have thought he'd have gotten his opponent to tap out here tonight.
Why not, King? He's a phenomenal superstar, and he knows how to pick apart his opponents.
I'm not taking anything away from him, JR. I'm just saying I'm surprised, that's all.
Tapping out to a submission hold is not the way you want to lose a match.
That's for sure. Making someone tap is like adding insult to injury.
And he dished out generous helpings of both here tonight.
Getting your opponent to tap out is an impressive feat, JR.
It sure is. There's not a superstar on the roster with an ounce of quit.
Well, after tonight, I'd have to say that maybe there's one superstar who does.
That's a tough way to lose a match, tapping out to your opponent's submission hold.
Yeah, but there's no better way to prove that you're better than your opponent.
I can't disagree. Getting a WWE superstar to quit a match is damn near impossible. And it's been reversed. What a reversal. A textbook reversal there. A reversal. Can he capitalize on it? Excellent counter. What ring presence. He's not going to get caught with that one.
There's the reversal. He reversed it. His opponent telegraphed that one. What a counter. He saw that one coming. He countered that one perfectly. Watch out. He reversed it. I can't believe he countered that one.
Arn Anderson, a purveyor of reversals. It's like he can read your mind.
We've talked about Arn's wrestling skills, and there's a perfect example. There's not a move he doesn't have an answer for. Double A's reversing everything that comes at him.
And Brett's a counter wrestler. He's not going to beat you with his power moves. He's a patient mat technician who will wait for you to make a mistake and then strike.
There's the experience of Brett showing through, JR. It's like he knows what move you're going to do before you even know, and he's waiting with a perfect counter. It'll take a bit more luck than that to pull the wool over the hitman's eyes. Hunter reversed it, and that's the kind of intelligence that comes with excellent genes. And before you go there, Ross, I'm talking about DNA, not those threadbare pants you've got on. Bravo, Hunter! That's a wonderful reversal.
And this young Hunter Hearst Helmsley comes up with a seasoned reversal.
Look at him. Perfect's wrestling this match perfectly. Ha ha! Perfect saw that one coming. Mr. Perfect must have perfect foresight, too. What a reversal. Look at the slickness of Rude. What a reversal. That's the veteran head of Rick Rude for you. He saw that one coming.
The man with the six-pack abs has obviously been studying tapes of his opponent. What a reversal.
Shawn Michaels is such a technician. He's been around for so long that he knows every counter to every hold.
You talk about spunk. You talk about spirit. There's no one that has as much as San Antonio's own Shawn Michaels. Michaels has taken control again. It's not easy to trap HBK. He's just too darn quick.
Ha ha! The $1 Million Man saw that one coming. What a reversal! I guess that's the price you pay when you try to get the advantage on the $1 Million Man.
Oh, and DiBiase counters. He must have anticipated that one. Dusty gets out of that one there. And there's the tag. The tag is made. They made the tag. He's tagged in his partner. And now he's bringing in his partner. There's the tag. That's some good teamwork. Looks like the tag is made. There's the tag. That's the way to do it. The tag has been made, and now his partner's coming in.
They got the tag. Looks like a tag to me. Did they get the tag? Yes! There's the tag, JR. Looks like he's tagging in his partner. Oh boy, there's the tag. Looks like they got the tag, JR. A smart tag team move there. Oh, look at this. Not the position you want to be in.
And he's caught.
Oh, he's in trouble now.
And there's the count. He's seen enough. Here he comes. And he's in there trying to get something going for his partner. His partner's being punished, and he's seen enough. And he finally heads back out of the ring. Finally, we might get some order in this match. And now he's back out onto the apron. And here we go. Pandemonium has broken loose. And we've broken out into a riot in the ring. And now all 4 competitors have hit the ring.
It looks like all 4 competitors are going at it. This is what I like.
And he has to make a tag to his fresh partner. He desperately needs to make a tag here. He's in bad shape. He's got to make the tag. His partner's hurt. His partner's in bad shape. He might have to finish this one on his own, folks.
Oh, and he's going to have to do something big here. His partner is in bad shape. And he might have to do this by himself. His partner doesn't have much left.
And he's been a one-man army. Forget tags. He's in firm control. So far, he's been dominating. But you got to assume he'll need to tag his partner sooner or later. This team has worked extremely well thus far. Good tagging by this team. And this union is tag team action personified. Great teamwork on display in this one, as another quick tag is made.
The team is working their game plan to perfection. Frequent tags have kept them fresh and in complete control of the match. Look at that! No fear whatsoever. What an amazing superstar!
And now he's sharing a piece of his mind.
This is great, JR. He's really letting his opponent have it. He's obviously not feeling too threatened, JR. He doesn't seem to be too concerned about his opponent, JR.
He's going up. Up the turnbuckle he goes.
Here he goes. Up the turnbuckle. This could be big.
He's up in the high rent district.
Oh, man. What's he doing now? Oh, boy. This is going to be big. Oh, boy. He's way up there.
What's he got planned here?
Oh, no. What's he going to do here?
He's got some evil intentions here.
He's going high risk here.
He's going for it all. Oh, and he eats a mouthful of canvas. And that's why they call it high risk, folks. And that was a costly misstep. Oh, good Lord. What a sick thud. Huge miscalculation on that one. Oh, man. What a painful mistake.
Oh, nobody home. Oh, man. A big-time miss. That'll put your lights out quick. Oh, he was just too slow.
He might have lost some teeth there. He took too long getting ready and landed hard on the outside. Oh, good grief. How do you learn to take a fall like that? Those thin mats don't offer much protection. He took a chance, but it did not pay off.
That depends on how you look at it. I loved it when my opponents crashed and burned. Oh, geez. He forgot to put the landing gear down on that one. Oh, did you hear that splatter? It sounded like somebody took a racket to a wet blanket. Oh, he probably cracked a couple ribs on that landing. Big-time mistake there. Big time. Oh, geez. He might need to change his drawers after that one.
He took too much time, and boy, did he pay the price. Pain doesn't get much greater than that, friends and neighbors. Ouch! He'll think twice about going up there again. Oh, cut off at the last second. Oh, and a cardinal mistake there. Oh, that's gotta hurt.
There'll be no post-match celebrations now, JR. I think everyone knows how that must feel. He wasted too much time on that one. You gotta move quicker than that. Oh my gosh! Talk about shattered dreams.
Here we go. This is a happening, King. Wrestlemania is happening. The wrestling event of the century. And what a match this is going to be. The Intercontinental Champion, Greg the Hammer Valentine, versus the challenger, the Junkyard Dog.
You got it, Ross. And boy, am I excited for this one.
In my opinion, Greg the Hammer Valentine is probably the best Intercontinental Champion to date, King.
He's ducked no one. He's defending against everyone. Well, Jimmy Hart says they duck no one.
The dog's doing well, but he's going to have his hands full.
Absolutely. With Valentine in the ring and Hart outside it, the dog's going to need eyes in the back of his head. The Hammer's in trouble. His Intercontinental title's in trouble. And JYD can smell victory like he smells dog food, I suppose.
Unbelievable. The Junkyard Dog is the new Intercontinental Champion. What a match. And this is the big one. Hell in the Cell. It might be the only device that can hold these two titans.
You got that right. There's $15,000 on the line, and Andre stated that if he doesn't win, he'll retire. And all of that going on in an evil-looking cage. You call them titans, and that's exactly what they look like. Two titans battling it out. I mean, how many pounds are in there, Jimbo?
Well, Andre's at 500, and Big John Studd's at 350 plus.
This match is so tremendously dangerous. With all that steel mesh, it's like fighting in a cheese grater.
Andre and Studd, nearly half a ton of flesh and bone, have inflicted big-time punishment on each other.
Andre said that if he loses, he'll retire. But after entering this hell in a cell, win or lose, there's a chance that both men's careers could be over.
Andre wins. Andre gets the 15 big ones. And what a violent match we've witnessed in this hell in the cell. Studd wins. Big John Studd's beaten the Giant. And now Andre's going to retire. Wow, what else can happen at WrestleMania? Here we go. Hogan and Bundy in a steel cage.
Bundy did the damage in Phoenix. I think Hogan came back too early, and we could be seeing a new champion.
Would you look at the Hulkster, the greatest professional athlete in the whole wide world. Bundy's got to go after those ribs, King.
Ross, that's what he's got to do. Bundy's strategy, no doubt, is to hit the champ with one of those big avalanches and then go out the door, because I can't see him going over the top.
Well, we know that he can fit through the door, at least. We saw that earlier. Hogan's out. The Hulkster's still the champ.
Bundy's bleeding. Hogan's busted Bundy wide open. He's pulling out all the stops.
The bell has sounded, and the biggest match in the history of professional wrestling has begun.
Bobby Heenan said that by the time this one's done, Hulkamania will be over. Hulkamania will be dead. The history books will definitely be written by the end of this match. Hogan's never faced a man as big as Andre. Hogan's never faced a man as strong as Andre.
The Hulkster's been WWE champion for 3 years. Andre's never been beaten, never even been picked up. This is the biggest match in history.
Hogan may have hurt that lower back area because of the extreme weight of Andre.
Hogan blocks it. Hogan now taking control of Andre. Here we go. And this is a vendetta as far as Jake the Snake Roberts is concerned. And I don't blame him one bit for anything he does to the Honky Tonk Man.
Of course, because Roberts is one of your favorites.
No, it's because Jake got blindsided in the Snake Pit interview by Honky with that guitar.
You know, a lot of people take Honky Tonk lightly, but he's well schooled in professional wrestling.
I know Honky's your cousin, King, and he has impressed me on a number of occasions.
You know, these two should have made a deal that if Honky Tonk wins, he'd get Damien to make a pair of boots out of him.
Well, I'm sure he wants no part of Damien. And Jake's exacting his revenge. I don't think the Honky Tonk Man wants to dance now.
He definitely doesn't.
Jake wins. Roberts letting everyone know you don't want to mess with a snake. This one's going to be a classic match here. A golden opportunity for Brutus the Barber Beefcake to become Intercontinental Champion.
Did you ever dance like the Honky Tonk Man, Ross?
If I did, I don't think there's any footage of it, Jerome.
That's too bad. I'd have paid good money to see that.
Honky won the Intercontinental title about 10 months ago, back in June, and has done everything in his power to hold on to it.
That's the advantage of being the champion, Ross. You have to lose by pinfall or submission to drop the title. If you get disqualified or counted out, you're still the champ. And Honky Tonk knows that.
And whether I like it or not, it has to be that way. Otherwise, you could get a biased ref that can change the title on a bogus disqualification.
Finally, you and I agree on something. You know, We might become friends after all.
Brutus looking for the sleeper. Honky looking for shake, rattle, and roll. And as soon as one of these two execute their move first, this one's going to be over.
The champ's in bad shape, Ross. If I was Honky, I'd hightail it out of here. Take the count out and live to fight another day.
Come on, King. Nobody wants to see that. Brutus won. After 40-plus weeks, the Honky Tonk Man's title reign finally comes to an end. Brutai, the new Intercontinental Champion. Ultimate Warrior, Ravishing Rick Rude, both in incredible shape as we saw during the pose down back at the Royal Rumble.
You know, I picked this one to be the match of the night. These two have very contrasting styles. Rude the technician, Warrior the brawler, but both are at the top of their game.
The Intercontinental Championship is on the line. Warrior, the champion, has to not only defeat Rude, but the Weasels on the outside. And you know he'll be a factor.
Well, sure. He's watching out for his investment. Heenan gets the title in his stable, and everybody makes more money. You know who I feel bad for? Bobby. He's come so close to getting that gold.
He's come close many times, always coming out on the short end of the stick.
Well, I know Heenan prepared Rude for this. All the hours and hours spent in the gym, this is his shot. And Bobby better watch out now, because Rude's in trouble.
Ultimate Warrior retains. Warrior still the Intercontinental Champion. Here we go. Champion versus champion. Title for title. And a shove-off by the Warrior.
They're just checking each other out here.
What a contest. The ultimate challenge. It is indeed just that. Intercontinental Champion. The Ultimate Warrior. WWE Champion. Hulk Hogan.
The crowd is divided. The Warrior looks great. Hogan looks great. This one's a toss-up. He got him.
The Warriors won the title. We have a new champion. This place has gone crazy.
Unbelievable. What a battle. Hogan's back in the ring now. This crowd doesn't know what he's going to do, and neither do I.
Oh, look at this. Hulk just took another giant step toward immortality.
Unbelievable Hulkster and unbelievable Warrior. We got a little psych out going on.
Hulkster with a little bit of height advantage here.
Look at that strength.
Both men jockeying for superior position.
No advantage either way. It's a total toss-up. Warrior's winning it. Warrior's winning it. Who'd have thought we'd see Hogan brought down? The Warrior's going down. The Warrior's down on his knees.
What a classic this one's going to be. The high-flying Jimmy Superfly Snuka versus the ravishing Rick Rude, locked up here in a steel cage.
Also, Heenan can't do his job. This is a miscarriage of justice, if you ask me.
For most men, the steel cage is a brutal battlefield. But for the Superfly, it's a second home.
That's right. This is a completely unfair advantage for Snuka.
What an amazing match it's been thus far. But later on, we got the ultimate challenge. Hulk Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. And what a matchup it'll be.
Absolutely. I can't wait for that.
It's been incredible so far. Now remember, the only way to win is pinfall, submission, or escaping the cage. Rude beats Snuka. I gotta be honest, this is a tremendous upset. Snuka wins. Snuka defeats Rude right here at Wrestlemania 6. It's payback time for the way Sergeant Slaughter's insulted this great nation of ours.
He's been talking about how we'll see a new Slaughter, a man with his own set of rules. Slaughter has the title, and he doesn't want to let it go.
There's the power of the Hulkster. As we've said so many times before, the Hulkster has to pull out all the stops, has to take it right to Slaughter. But Slaughter doesn't have to beat Hogan to leave with the title. Hogan got him. He got him. Hogan did it for the WWE and the United States of America, brother.
The Hulkster regained the title once again. Unbelievable. I've never seen Hogan take it to any opponent, whether he's held the championship or not, like he's done to Slaughter here. He's playing with a new set of rules, too. This is a new Hulk Hogan.
Here we go. And the brain's got to be worried, King.
Bobby's got nothing to be afraid of. Boss Man's an idiot who fell right into Heenan's trap. There's no way he's going to beat Perfect in a ladder match. No way.
So much emotion in this one. After weeks of torment, Boss Man has his chance to strike a major blow to the family. All he's got to do is climb that ladder. The lighter, quicker Mr. Perfect on paper has a huge advantage in a ladder match. But there's no quantifying Boss Man's resolve.
I can't believe Boss Man's still in this. Stop him, Perfect. Climb the ladder.
Boss Man got the title. The Weasel's in shock. What a blow to the Heenan family. Perfect got the championship, and Heenan couldn't be happier. You heard the legendary Howard Finkel during introductions. This one has become a submission match. The officiating board must have seen the pre-match interview and decided to up the ante.
It's Hitman's Sharpshooter versus Piper's Sleeper. Both are great submission moves, but we're going to find out which one's the best.
This is the only piece of gold that Piper's ever held.
Yeah, but he didn't deserve it.
Oh, he deserves it. Both these men deserve it. Hart versus Piper. Sharpshooter versus Sleeper. Challenger versus Champion. This is what WrestleMania is all about.
This one has been the technical clinic we'd hoped. What an incredible match. Only one question remains. Who will submit?
Piper wins. What a match. Piper is still the Intercontinental Champion. The Rowdy One submits. History's been made. We've got a new Intercontinental Champion. Bret Hart's regained the title. The bell has rung, and the odds makers here in Vegas have Yokozuna heavily favored.
Why shouldn't they? It's like the Hitman's in this cage against a redwood tree. Bret might actually have an advantage. Bret will be able to climb the cage. I don't see how Yoko can do that.
Hart's got an advantage? Are you looking at Yokozuna? There are whole villages that don't stand a chance against Yoko. Bret Hart, the champion. Yokozuna, the challenger. The WWE Championship means so much to both these young men.
That's right. Yoko will be able to buy a whole lot of rice with that kind of money.
Just stop it. What a war! This cage might have been the only thing that could contain these superstars. The massive Yokozuna wins. Yokozuna's become the WWE Champion.
And nobody's going to beat this guy. Yoko will be champion forever.
Bret Hart did it. Somehow, some way, the Hitman overcame the odds against this 500-pound monster. Yokozuna and Hitman Bret Hart. They met last year in Las Vegas, but were 1 year and 2,500 miles away from WrestleMania 9.
And both these men have gone through their own wars the last 12 months. But this match has got to be the most important match of their career. You never can tell what's going to happen at WrestleMania. Will Yokozuna retain the title? Will Bret Hart become the champion?
Anything can happen. This gargantuan man, second by second, minute by minute, is taking out Bret the Hitman Hart. These fans, representing the WWE Universe, have come from all over the world to see if Bret Hart can defeat Yokozuna. But Yokozuna may be too much for any man to defeat. Yokozuna is still champion. The Hitman has suffered the wrath of this 500-pound mastodon. And here we go. The Undertaker, a man who's never lost a WrestleMania.
Yeah, but he's never been in a no-holds-barred fight with a man the size of Bundy either.
The resiliency of both competitors will be tested here. Ladies and gentlemen, this will not be for the faint of heart. The Undertaker is 4-0 at WrestleMania. Bundy looks to put an end to that impressive streak here tonight.
There's no way the Undertaker's going to be able to topple King Kong Bundy. He's just too big.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. The Undertaker's a phenom. He's always doing the impossible. What a slobber knocker of a contest. The physicality in this one will never be equal. And believe it or not, Bundy puts an end to the impressive undefeated streak of The Undertaker. What a match! The Undertaker goes an unbelievable 5-0 at WrestleMania. Will he ever be stopped?
Incredible! But no way does he see 6-0, Jim.
There's the bell, and the Iron Man match is underway. The contender, Shawn Michaels, looking for sweet chin music. The champion, Bret Hart, looking for the sharpshooter. And neither one of these men will be the same after this one.
That's right, JR. I want a shot at whoever's going to be the champion. They'll be easy pickings.
The hitman Bret Hart claimed what he will do is beat Shawn Michaels into submission. He's made his plans very clear.
I'll tell you right now, if the hitman wins the first decision, he'll win the whole match. Bret looks distracted. I think the hitman's been worried a little too much about what the fans think about him.
No, I don't think that's it at all.
No, I think he thinks he's lost his fans, or they've converted over to the clique. If the hitman goes out there thinking about the fans and not totally focused, he could lose this one.
I don't think that's it at all. I don't think there are Bret Hart fans or Shawn Michaels fans here. These fans are here to see the action that only these two individuals can bring.
Right, Ross. If you were a little smarter, you'd know how dumb you sound when you say something like that. 'Cause these fans are divided, half for Michaels and half for Bret Hart.
This Iron Man match has been amazing. What a contest this has been. Hitman wins. Bret went the distance. Bret Hart still WWE champion. This was the best, the most phenomenal match I've ever seen in my career. Absolutely amazing. And here we go. Austin, not a submission wrestler, but he can beat you until you say, "I quit." And that's the only stipulation in this matchup, ladies and gentlemen.
This is a war here at WrestleMania 13. I love it.
Now remember, pinfalls don't matter. You can't be counted out. The only way to beat your opponent is by submission. Austin passed out. Stone Cold never gave up. He passed out from the pain. Austin is out.
Boy, what a display of domination by Bret Hart.
The hitman Bret Hart. It's not about titles this year. That was last year. It's about submission. And the hitman is just mauling Austin right now.
Austin's been busted open.
And Bret Hart doesn't care. And I'd say neither does Austin. But yes, Austin is a bloody mess. This is brutal. A vile, vicious match. And that's exactly what Austin wanted. It's more akin to a bar fight than a wrestling match.
I love it, JR. These guys are looking to destroy each other.
And finally, they come back into the corral area. As we get started, I must say, nobody has ever outperformed Shawn Michaels in big match situations. And folks, it don't get no bigger than this. You look at all the people Michaels defeated in big match situations, and it's an amazing roster.
I think he's going to add another name to that list tonight. Stone Cold.
The Texas Rattlesnake is the champion. Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Cold. The Austin era has begun. Austin's 8-year journey has finally been culminated.
You told me it was going to happen, JR. You said history was going to be made at WrestleMania 14, and it happened.
Austin beating Michaels to the punch there.
Is it safe to say these guys don't like each other?
Oh, hell yeah. What a rivalry. What a competition.
Oh, my gosh. Here they go.
The Brahma Bull and the Rattlesnake hooking it up here. This was made a no disqualification match by Mr. McMahon earlier tonight. Austin wins. Austin wins. The Rattlesnake rules. The Rattlesnake rules again. What a war Austin waged with The Rock. Oh, my. He's got a foreign object. Now he's looking to really hurt his opponent.
Oh, no. Watch out. That weapon could do some serious damage.
Looks like the aggression is going to be turned up a notch. He's looking to be chairman of the board here. What's he got planned with that steel chair? Now the chair comes into play.
He's got a chair.
Talk about high risk. He's got a ladder.
There's so many ways you can use a ladder as a weapon, and all of them hurt.
He's bringing in the ladder.
The stakes just got higher.
Oh my, now he's using that 15-foot ladder. And now a ladder's added to the mix. Oh, come on now. He's picked up that title.
He's got the title. He's going to use those huge steel steps as a weapon.
Those steps are reinforced steel, and he's trying to use them as a weapon.
If I were in this match, I'd start running now. Those steel steps can do huge damage.
He's got the ring bell.
Hey, he's got the bell. Isn't the bell keeper supposed to, well, keep that?
Oh, no. There's the ring bell. Looks like he's not through using that foreign object.
He's going for that weapon again.
He's got that weapon again.
Hey, if it worked once.
This isn't the first time we've seen him wield that weapon.
And I doubt it'll be the last.
Again, he goes for that weapon.
He's got a chair again.
The steel chair becoming a weapon of choice for this superstar. Again, the steel chair comes into play.
He's quickly becoming attached to that chair.
He's becoming well versed with that chair. Oh my, he's got that ladder again.
He's getting ready to use that ladder again.
I guess he didn't achieve everything he wanted with the ladder the first time.
And he's not done with that ladder yet. And again, the ladder comes into play. He doesn't want to let go of that championship, JR.
And again, he's got the title. And here comes that title again. Here comes an encore with those steel steps.
And here's those vicious steel steps again. He's got the steel steps again. And he's got the bell again.
He's picked the bell back up. There's that bell again. Oh, you're kidding me. I thought we were done with that bell.
No, not the bell again. And you can't take too many of those and expect to continue. Did you see that? That's going to leave a mark.
Good Lord, what an impact. What an impact. I'm sure that felt even worse than it looked. Good Lord, I don't think there's anything these superstars won't use to win this match.
You're right about that, JR. This is downright brutal.
What a shot. You can't take too many of those and expect to stay in this.
I don't even want to think about what that feels like, JR.
He's trying to injure his opponent. Oh man, what a shot from that foreign object.
Ouch. That's going to leave a mark, JR.
What a hellacious impact. What a shot. You can't take too many of those and expect to stay in this. He's certainly not showing his opponent any mercy here tonight.
Wow, if he keeps this up, this could be over quick.
He's certainly not showing his opponent any mercy here tonight.
Wow, if he keeps this up, this could be over quick.
My God, the slobber-knocking impact of flesh and bones on those steel steps.
You can't take too many of those and expect to win the match, JR.
My God, the slobber-knocking impact of flesh and bones on those steel steps.
Oh my gosh, he's using those steel steps as a weapon.
What a vicious shot from those solid steel steps. Good grief, I don't care how tough you are. A chair shot is a chair shot.
Oh man, did you hear that chair shot, JR?
What a vicious chair shot. What a shot with a bell.
That'll ring your bell.
And the impact from the bell can be heard around the arena. Oh, what a shot with that championship.
Oh, that's one way to get the title.
Now that was a vicious shot with the title. Get me out of here. Jake lunges with that snake. Would you please put that snake away? Just put it away. Oh, the urn. What a shot from that urn. Oh, no. The urn's in there.
Oh, no! The urn! That was brutal!
What a massive blow from that megaphone.
Actions speak louder than words. What a shot with the megaphone!
Oh, what a nasty shot with that ladder.
Oh, man, there's so many sharp edges on a ladder. That'll cut you open fast.
And he's knocked down. Now will he go for the title or dish out more punishment?
Oh, what a shot from that weapon! Oh, did you see the force behind that? He's enjoying this.
We knew these superstars weren't going to be easy on each other, but this is too much.
He's unloading again with that weapon. Good Lord. Another shot with that foreign object.
Oh, there's another hit. That was vicious. He's just brutalizing his opponent.
And he gets in another shot with that weapon. Oh, and another vicious blow with that object. Oh, what a shot from that ladder.
Oh, man, those ladder shots can mess you up bad. And another shot with the ladder. That's not how you're meant to use a megaphone, but I'm not going to tell him.
And another shot with that darn megaphone.
He's really using that megaphone well. Oh, talk about ringing your bell.
Every blow from that bell is ringing throughout the arena in my head.
Oh, no! Those bells weigh like 20 pounds. They'll really cause some damage. Oh, and another vicious shot with that bell.
And Jake goes in again with that sinister snake.
Oh, Damien wants another taste of flesh.
Better them than me because it looks like feeding time for Damien. Oh, and what a shot with that title that was. A clubbingly golden blow with that title.
Oh, he caught him with that title again. Oh, he struck gold there. And another shot with that urn. Oh, just smashed with that urn again. Oh, no, I heard that one from here.
And there's the urn. Now that was brutal.
And that's the match. And there it is. That's the match.
Wow, what a battle. What a victory.
They did it. They did it. Wow, what a match. Andre wins. The Giant wins.
Andre wins.
Animal's a winner.
Animal did it. Anderson wins. Anderson did it. The Enforcer wins.
Oh my gosh. Bam Bam wins.
Bam Bam wins. Bam Bam wins. The Big Boss Man did it. The Big Boss Man wins.
Oh, and the big man does it.
Big John Studd wins.
Bret Hart wins. Bret Hart wins excellently.
Bret Hart did it.
Davey Boy did it.
The Bulldog wins.
Beefcake wins.
Brutus wins.
Dusty wins. The Dream wins. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream wins.
Valentine did it. Valentine wins.
Hacksaw wins. Hacksaw wins. Hacksaw did it. Hawk did it. Hawk wins.
Hawk wins. The Honky Tonk Man wins. Honky Tonk did it.
Hogan wins. Hogan wins. The Hulkster did it. The Hulkster did it again. The Hulkster wins.
The Blue Blood did it. He did it. Hunter did it. Sheik wins. Sheik wins. The Sheik did it.
Jake the Snake Roberts wins.
Jake did it. Roberts wins.
The Anvil wins.
Neidhart got it.
Snuka wins. Snuka wins. Snuka did it. JYD did it. The Junkyard Dog did it. The dog did it. Oh, good Lord. Kamala wins.
Kamala wins.
Oh, my gosh. Bundy wins.
Chalk up another win for Bundy.
Coco flies away with a win. The Birdman does it. The Birdman did it. Perfect wins perfectly.
Mr. Perfect wins. I knew he would. The Russian does it. Volkov wins. The Nature Boy did it. Flair wins. Flair wins. Rude wins. The Ravishing One did it. Rude did it.
The Hot Rod did it. Piper wins. Piper wins. Slaughter wins. The Sarge wins.
The Sarge did it.
Michaels wins. The Heartbreak Kid does it.
The Heartbreak Kid wins.
Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Cold wins. Austin wins. Stone Cold wins.
They got it. They did it. They won the match. DiBiase wins. There's one more accolade for the $1 Million Man.
The Rock wins. The Great One does it. The Rock did it. The Rock wins. Oh my gosh, the dead man did it. The Undertaker did it. The dead man claims another soul. Yokozuna wins. Can anybody stop this massive juggernaut?
Yokozuna wins! Hollywood wins! Mr. Amazing wins it! Mr. Macho wins! The Barbarian did it! The Bruiser wins! The Butcher did it! The Cowboy wins! The Crusher wins! The Disaster wins! The Dog wins! The Dragon did it! The Gangster wins! The Giant wins! The Horseman wins! The King wins! The Maniac wins! The Matador wins! The Model wins! The Monster wins it! The Natural did it! The Professor wins! The Rocker did it! The Soldier wins! The Superstar wins it! The Tornado wins!
The Warrior wins, and this place has gone crazy. The Warrior's done it. What a victory for the Ultimate Warrior. Hayes wins, and Hot Atlanta's going to be celebrating tonight. P.S. did it. Michael Hayes wins. And here comes the eighth wonder of the world. Oh my, and now Andre the Giant's entered the match.
Oh my is right. I don't know if these superstars have what it takes to beat the Giant.
Animal. And man, does he look ready for this one. Animal's entered the match.
And I wouldn't be surprised if everybody else left the match. Here comes the Enforcer, and I predict he's going to make an immediate impact. It's Double A. Say it, Ross. Business is about to pick up.
I'll leave that up to you, King. Oh, and here comes the big man from Asbury Park. Now Bam Bam's hit the ring.
Boss Man! And you know he'll be looking to instill some law and order in this one. Finally, the Boss Man's in. Now we'll see some justice.
And here comes the big man, Big John Studd. And with his size and strength, you gotta figure he's the new odds-on favorite.
Bret Hart, here we go.
It's the excellence of execution. It's the Bulldog. All right, and now Davy Boy gets his chance to flex his muscles. It's Brutai, and the Barber's gonna cut through this competition. Here comes Brutus. Here comes Brutus. And the irrepressible Dusty Rhodes has hit the ring. And he's the plumber's son who can't wait to clean up. It's the American Dream.
Oh, give it up. You're sitting next to royalty, yet you cheer for a common man like Dusty? In fact, get down on your knees and genuflect.
That's not going to happen, Jerome. Not today or any other.
The Hammer! Now we're talking. Now we'll see some sound technical wrestling. Now here's my kind of superstar, Greg Valentine. And man, can this guy wrestle.
Sure he can wrestle, but he also loves to play dirty.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, it's Hacksaw.
Wonderful. The IQ in this place just dropped 50 points.
Oh, would you quit it? It's Hacksaw, and man, King, do these fans absolutely love him.
Well, never underestimate the lowest common denominator.
Uh-oh, here comes Hawk, and he's looking to tear the house down. And here comes the powerhouse Hawk. And is this guy tough or what?
No arguing there. This Hawk's an absolute force. It's the Honky Tonk Man. You know he's from Tennessee, just like the King.
Which King are you referring to?
Me. Why, is there another?
None that comes to mind.
Now we're talking. It's the Honky Tonk Man. And can this guy dance or what?
I'll go with or what. It's the Hulkster. Bedlam and Pandemonium are set to break loose.
I'd take any one of these guys over Hogan.
Fine, you take everybody else, and I'll take Hogan. And you know what? I like my odds.
No, not Hogan!
And here we go. The Hulksters hit the ring. Can you hear these Hulkamaniacs?
Are you kidding? You can hear them on Pluto.
Oh, look who it is. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You like this guy, don't you, King?
What's not to like? And here's a true superstar, the Iron Sheik. It's the Sheik, the Iron Sheik.
Here comes Jake Roberts. And now the master of the DDT. JT enters the match.
Here comes the big guy. It's the Anvil. And here comes Neidhart.
It's Snuka, and Superfly means business. Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and these WWE fans love him.
Oh, come on. The Junkyard Dog? Who wants to see him?
Me, for one.
Well, there's no accounting for taste.
And here comes the Junkyard Dog. Oh, dear Lord, it's that freak Kamala.
Oh, man, it's Kamala. And that's a weirdo even I'm scared of.
Oh, no, it's King Kong Bundy.
He's going to make a difference.
He certainly will.
All right, another king. It's King Kong Bundy.
It's the Birdman. Coco, beware. Here comes Coco.
It's Mr. Perfect. Finally, we'll see some perfect wrestling.
So what were we watching before, King?
Well, it was good, just not perfect. Oh, here we go. It's Mr. Perfect.
It's Nikolai Volkov.
The 320-pound Russian is looking to bring it home for the fatherland.
Oh, it's Ric Flair.
And Flair's done it all. He's a shoo-in to win this one. A shoo-in. It's the Nature Boy. It's Flair.
And you'd just love it if he won this.
Absolutely. No one is more deserving.
Well, I could think of one or two other individuals.
Oh, give it a rest. Who asked you anyway? Here we go. It's the ravishing one. Rick Rude has entered the match. And listen to the response from the ladies. It's kind of like when I come out here.
What are you talking about? It's nothing like when you come down here. It's the Hot Rod, Roddy Piper.
It's the Rowdy Scott. And boy, does Piper look ready to get into this one.
Oh, my. It's Slaughter. And he looks ready to take care of business. Here comes the Sarge, trained in hand-to-hand combat. This is his kind of match. It's Michaels. It's the Heartbreak Kid. Wow, Shawn Michaels. And business is about to pick up. Here comes Stone Cold. Here we go. Austin's entered the match. Austin is ready to go.
Now this is the one I've been waiting for. Here comes DiBiase.
How come I'm not surprised?
Ah, it's the Brahma Bull.
And I got a feeling it's time to lay the smack down. It's The Rock. It's The Rock.
And The Rock is so good, he reminds me of myself.
It's The Undertaker.
Looks like he's coming to stay.
King, it's The Undertaker.
Uh-oh, Death takes a holiday. Uh-oh, Yokozuna. That's it, my money's on him. And here comes Hollywood. It's Mr. Amazing. You know, I hear he's amazing. It's Mr. Macho. Uh-oh, here comes the Barbarian. All right, the Bruiser. Hey, it's the Butcher. The Cowboys entered the match. Oh my gosh, the Crusher. Look out, it's the Disaster. The Dog has entered the match. It's the Dragon. Here comes the Dragon. All right, the Gangster. The Giant. Watch out, the Giant's coming. It's the Horseman. The King. Here comes the King. The Maniac's in it now. Here comes the Matador. All right, the Model in there. Oh my gosh, it's the Monster. The Natural's in. Here comes the Professor. It's the Rocker. The Soldier's in now. Yes, the Superstar. Watch it, it's the Tornado.
And here he comes, the Ultimate Warrior. Look out, here comes the Warrior. Mothers, hide your daughters, 'cause here comes fabulous Michael P.S. Hayes. Hayes has hit the ring.
Here comes another superstar. Business is about to pick up. And another competitor is about to join the action. Here comes another competitor. This is turning into a real slobber knocker.
Time for another superstar to join the match. Here comes another superstar. I love it.
He's been chomping at the bit, and now he's getting his chance to enter the match. Look at the fire in his eyes. He's ready to get in this match.
Here he comes, JR. He can't wait to get involved in this one.
Oh my gosh, I don't believe it. Andre the Giant's been eliminated.
There he goes. Andre the Giant is out of the match. Oh no, they slew the Giant. Andre's eliminated.
Oh, and the Road Warrior's out. Bye-bye, Animal.
He's out! Animal's out! Road Warrior Animal's eliminated!
And the Enforcer can call it a night.
Oh, he's gone! Double A is out of the match! He's been eliminated! Arn Anderson is out of the match!
Uh-oh, Bam Bam just went bye-bye.
Bam Bam's eliminated! The Beast from the East is headed to the back! Oh, he's gone! Bam Bam's out of the match!
And that's all she wrote for the Big Boss Man. He is gone.
Bye-bye, Boss Man! The Big Man's eliminated! It all ends here for the Big Boss Man. He's been eliminated!
Oh, Big John Studd is eliminated.
Oh, no! Big John Studd's out of the match! He's gone! Big John Studd's eliminated!
Uh-oh, the Hitman's been excellently executed.
Bret Hart's out of the match! There goes the Hitman. He's been eliminated!
The British Bulldog just got impounded.
And there he goes! It's back to the back for the Bulldog! Bulldog's eliminated!
Brutus Beefcake's out of the match and back to the barber shop.
Oh, man! Brutus Beefcake's eliminated! He's gone! The barber's out of the match!
The American Dream remains a dream. Dusty Rhodes is eliminated.
He's out of there! Dusty Rhodes is gone! Oh, man! Dusty Rhodes is eliminated!
Greg Valentine hammered from the match.
The Hammer's been eliminated! That's as far as the Hammer can go. Greg Valentine's gone!
He's gone. Hacksaw's history.
And Hacksaw's been eliminated! Hacksaw's out!
It's all over for Hawk.
And there he goes! Road Warrior Hawk is out of the match! And Hawk's gone!
Peggy Sue's heartbroken because the Honky Tonk Man is out of here.
Oh no! He's gone! Honky has left the building! He's out of the match! Honky Tonk Man's been eliminated!
Oh, brother! The Hulkster's been eliminated.
And there goes the red and yellow! Hogan's gone! The Hulkamaniac's hopes come crashing down! Hogan's been eliminated!
He's gone. Hunter Hearst Helmsley is now out of the match.
And there goes Hunter! He's out of the match! He's been eliminated! Hunter Hearst Helmsley is out!
Look out in the locker room because the Iron Sheik is out of this match.
He's been eliminated! The Iron Sheik is out of the match! Oh no! The Iron Sheik's been eliminated!
Maybe a little too slippery for his own good, but Jake the Snake's eliminated.
Jake the Snake's eliminated! There he goes! Jake the Snake's gone!
Uh-oh, the Anvil's been tossed.
The Anvil's been eliminated! He's out of the match! Jim Neidhart's gone for good!
And Jimmy Snuka's out of the match.
Superfly's been eliminated! It's all over for Superfly. He's out of the match!
The Junkyard Dog is headed to the doghouse.
There goes JYD! Junkyard Dog's been eliminated!
Kamala's out and can catch the next plane to Uganda.
And he's gone! Kamala's been eliminated! Kamala's out! The Ugandan Giant's been eliminated from the match!
And he's gone. King Kong Bundy is out of here and probably on his way to catering.
What? King Kong Bundy's been eliminated? He's gone! King Kong Bundy is out!
The Birdman may fly back someday, but right now, Coco Beware's been eliminated.
He's gone! Coco's eliminated! And Coco Beware is out of the match!
That could be called a perfect elimination. Mr. Perfect is gone.
Kurt Henning's gone! Mr. Perfect has been eliminated! He's eliminated! Mr. Perfect is out of the match!
Nikolai Volkov's eliminated, and let's hope he doesn't start singing the Russian national anthem.
There he goes! Nikolai Volkov's out of the match! He's been eliminated! Volkov's gone!
The Nature Boy is gone.
And there goes Nate! Oh no! The Nature Boy's out of it!
Well, Rick Rude's got time to work on his abs because the Ravishing One's been eliminated.
Rick Rude's out of the match! Oh, and he's gone! Rick Rude's out of the match!
He couldn't quite hold on. Rowdy Roddy Piper is out of the match.
There he goes! Rowdy Roddy Piper's eliminated! He's gone! Roddy Piper's been eliminated.
Uh-oh. Sergeant Slaughter's out of the match, chin first.
He's been eliminated. Slaughter's out. Oh, he's out. Sergeant Slaughter's headed to the back.
And the Heartbreak Kid's been eliminated. Michaels is out. Michaels is out. Good Lord, the showstopper's been eliminated. And it's all over for Stone Cold. Austin has been eliminated.
Austin's been eliminated. Austin's gone. Austin's gone.
The $1 Million Man's gone bankrupt tonight and is making his way to the back.
Oh, he's out. DiBiase's out of the match. DiBiase's been eliminated.
What in the blue hell? The Rock's been eliminated.
Oh, no. The Rock's out of the match. The Rock's out. The Rock's been eliminated.
Woo! The Warrior's been taken out.
Oh, he's out. The Warrior's been eliminated.
Good God Almighty, the Phenom's out.
The Dead Man's gone.
Unbelievable. The Undertaker has been eliminated. An amazing Herculean effort. The 600-pound Yokozuna is out of the match.
What? Yokozuna's been eliminated. He's gone. He's gone. Yokozuna has been eliminated. Hollywood's been eliminated. Mr. Amazing wasn't so amazing this time. Mr. Macho is out of this one. The Barbarian's gone. And the Bruiser's been taken out. The Butcher's out. Take a ride, cowboy. There goes the Crusher. And the Disaster's been eliminated. Looks like that dog's headed to the pound. The Dragon's gone now. The Gangster got caught there. It looks like the Giant's been chopped down. Eliminated. The Horseman's out. The King's been dethroned. Here goes the Maniac. The Matador's been taken out. The Model's out. There goes the Monster. The Natural's been eliminated. The Professor got taught a lesson in this one. There'll be no encore for the Rocker. Eliminated. You might say the Soldier's been court-martialed. The Superstar's out. There goes the Tornado.
And Batista's out. Good Lord, the Animal's been eliminated. Oh my God, the world's largest athlete has been eliminated.
I don't believe it. They eliminated the Big Show.
Well, it looks like Brian Kendrick's gone from this match.
Kendrick's out.
Oh, and there goes Carlito. Carlito is eliminated. Chavo is out.
Chavo's been taken out.
Oh my, Jericho's been eliminated. And there goes Jericho. CM Punk is out. Punk is eliminated. And Punk's out. And the valiant Cody Rhodes is going home.
Cody's history. Kurt Hawkins is gone.
Edge is eliminated. Edge is out. Oh, and Edge is done. Wow, that Colossus Festus has been eliminated. Oh my, there goes Festus. The tough Irishman is out of this match.
There goes Finley.
Holly's been eliminated.
Hardcore Holly is out of this one.
Good Lord, they've eliminated Bradshaw.
JBL's out. JBL's eliminated.
Hardy's been eliminated. Jeff Hardy's been eliminated. The youngster Jesse's been eliminated. And Jesse's been taken out. Our resident redneck is out of this one.
Jimmy Wang Yang's been eliminated.
Lord, Cena's out. And how shocking is this? John Cena's been eliminated.
I can't believe it. Cena's been eliminated.
Morrison's been taken out. And Morrison's been eliminated. And this member of Crime Time is done.
There goes JTG.
Good grief. The Monster King's been vanquished. And the Big Red Machine's been shut down. And the world's strongest man is out of here.
Oh, there goes Henry.
And the tough Matt Hardy's out. A valiant effort on Matt Hardy's part tonight, but he's out. Mr. Kennedy has been eliminated. Kennedy has been eliminated.
Oh, man, Kennedy's gone.
And MVP is history.
MVP's out. Jericho's out. He's out.
And the Legend Killer is done for. Orton's been eliminated. Orton has been eliminated. And there goes Orton. Ray's been eliminated.
Wow, and now Mysterio's out. Shad's out. There goes Shad.
There goes Santino.
Look at this. Santino's been eliminated.
Benjamin's out of this contest.
There goes your gold standard.
Good night, Snitsky. Snitsky's been eliminated. Snitsky's out. Oh, Taz has been eliminated.
Oh, there goes Taz.
And the old boogeyman is sent back to the bottomless pit.
There goes the boogeyman.
The boogeyman has been eliminated. The Great Khali has been eliminated. Good grief. This massive Great Khali is out of this matchup. Well, that's it for The Miz. And The Miz is finished. The ECW original is done for the night. This is no nightmare. There goes Dreamer. The King of Kings is eliminated. Triple H is gone.
I don't believe it. It's game over for the game.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but Triple H is gone. The mighty Samoan Bulldozer's been derailed.
Look at this. Umaga's been eliminated.
And there goes King William Regal. Oh, and King Regal's been eliminated. Zack Ryder couldn't pull it off tonight.
There goes Ryder.
P.S. Hayes is gone. As he should be, Michael Hayes is out of here.
Is he nuts? He doesn't really think he's going to lift him, does he?
Well, if he did, I don't think he does anymore.
He must be crazy thinking he could pick him up like that. I don't think this is going to work, JR.